Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to VidaneTV. Showtime. Paul Strickland Jr. up here at the broadcast booth alongside me, Ashton Reiki. Ashton, how we feeling tonight, brother?
We're feeling fantastic, Paul. It's nice to be back behind the microphone, and we're already getting rolling here. We're into the first heat is already gridded up. They're doing their caution laps. Lights are out. And we got Kyler Davis and Kyle Dumas on the front row of this first heat.
How about Bro Roberts in that 26 car going to roll off P3? Stephen Barnett in the number 20 car going to roll off P4.
Behind them in the 60 car is Connor Ruda and the 47 of Ryan Kuhn.
And there you see green flag flying right off the rip, getting on down to the nitty-gritty here in this one. This is going to be a lot of fun, Ashton. When's the last time? You and I have done a lot of iRacing shows together here on VidaneTV, a lot of late model racing, a lot of short track racing. When's the last time we've seen 47 late models show up to try and make a feature?
It's been a while. I'm going to say some of the TCM shows that we have done, generally, you know, the bigger races have that many cars in them, but 40-plus cars, only 30 spots is what they're going for here tonight. So six through the heat races, some from the Consi. It's going to be a lot of exciting racing and a lot of good-looking race cars.
Indeed it is, and this is race number 2 on the season for these drivers, and it's going to be a blast to try and catch up with these guys and try and basically keep track where everybody's running throughout the season. We're going to be able to keep up with those live points as we run throughout the championship season here. Caution flag, I believe, flying for the very first time. It may very well just be that my camera controls crashed out and we're running in slow motion, but we'll get that fixed here momentarily. It's live TV. It's one of those deals that unfortunately happens every now and again.
Yeah, Paul, it's not your system. The yellow is out for the first time tonight in this first heat, and as you can see, there's a car right down there on the apron trying to make his way onto pit road. So an early struggle for some of the drivers here at Southern National. A tricky track, something a little different. And some would say one of the trickier tracks that these guys are going to have to run. So used to New Hampshire is where they ran last weekend in their first race, and we'll talk about that a little later on tonight. After this race, we're going to jump into those replays, some technical difficulties last week that we have figured out now, and now we can go live with all this.
Absolutely. How about these quickie yellows, too? These guys want to get this show in. They know that we got the big show coming up here later on this evening. Lights already out on the iRacing pace truck, 2x2 all the way through. We're getting ready to rock and roll once again. 4 laps to go, 3 to go at the line.
Yeah, the lights are already out. These guys, same front row as what started off, just a little bit different behind them. And a great start by the 6 car, jumping out to that lead just like he did on the original start. The 15 is going to fall in suit with the 03 right behind them. Getting underneath them is the 72, just underneath the 60 car. He's going to make a move on the bottom side. And I mentioned to you earlier, Paul, that this track, late in the race, 150 laps here tonight, it's going to be a 2-groove track. Ooh, the 60 very sideways off the corner. It's a little early to be up in that high groove. There's probably some marbles up there early on.
So Matt Huntington pointed in the wrong direction there in the pair of 9s. He's going to be pointed in the wrong direction. Going to gather back up. Looks like he's 1 lap down, and we'll see if we can take a quick look here at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay. We'll back up the page because that's how we do it here at VidaneTV. We do it live. There you can see just a little bit of a bumpski there in the corner. Sent him on around. Looks like there might have been a little bit of a connection issue in there as well. Unfortunately, that'll happen in big-time sim racing, but gonna get the restacked, re-racked, get the field re-racked, restacked once again. Lights out on the pace truck, getting ready to go green with 3 laps to go.
Again, it's one of those tracks, Paul, that it's early on in the night. There's a lot of marbles, cold tires, cold track. It's just going to take a little bit for these guys to get the car underneath them. 150 laps is a long race, so you'll see a little bit more patience later on, but all of these guys are bidding for 30 spots. 47 cars you mentioned earlier, a little bit of contact at the front. The 03 is around. He's going to keep it straight and keep it going. We're going to stay green.
That is a tough spot to give up. Remember, the top 6 going to make it in. Running for second. The 03 car gets spun around, sent on towards the back. Stay clean, stay green as we take the white flag, a white rag, actually heading into 3 and 4 for the very final time in the heat race number 1. Going to be Kyler Davis with the checkered flag. Kyle Dumas, Ty Delphia, Alan Young, Connor Ruda, and Luke Shannon. Luke Shannon going to be the 6 drivers to transfer in to the big show here tonight. Everybody else going to have to get on down to the virtual pit road and get things sorted out to try and race their way into the Conti. We'll take a quick peek here at those results once again, and they can see the great sponsors for the Fast1 Motorsports Late Model Stock Nationals here. DJ Loud sponsoring last week's race. Mad River Plumber helping us out here this week with all the poopy jobs that we can't quite say because it's not quite prime time here at VidaneTV.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Mad River Plumbing jumping in this season. They've got a mini season, a Triple Crown season within the big season. So he's got 3 races this year that he's helped out the Fast1 guys, and it's going to be interesting. This is the first one of 3, and it's already starting off to be really, really interesting.
Heat race number 2 going to shake down something like this. Caleb Kramer going to start P1 in the number 51 car. How about PJ Frappier rolling off P2? There's Casey Beatty. We're going to go with. We apologize for some of the names. This is the first time we're seeing most of these drivers here on VidaneTV, so we're probably going to butcher at least a dozen, maybe a half dozen names or so. Connor Haddock going to roll off there, and P4, Mike Giroux, P5. Riley McVetti going to round out the top 6.
Right behind them in the 77, you're going to see Scott Rochford. Is what we're going to go with on that one. Again, I apologize if we're screwing up the names. And beside him is the 3 car of Mike McCaskill.
The 9 car of the LP Lousier machine going to roll off, or check that 72 car going to roll off P9. There's the Keith Lord in the 10th position. We're going to take that green flag. 12 drivers making the call for heat race number 2. And we saw these drivers really like to get racy around this place.
Yeah, and it's big fields in the heat race, right? So as we said before, 6 cars moving on through. The yellow's out, so I don't know if we took that lap or not. Just some early contact back in the field, right on the initial green flag there. A big field for a heat race. Generally, you know, when we look at a heat race, we're seeing 8 to 10 cars, 12 cars in these ones, 6 going on to the main. The rest going to the Consi, and that Consi, there's some names looking at our stats and stuff like that, Paul, that some of those names that are towards the back are still very fast drivers and have some good equipment underneath them. So even the Consi is going to be full of very talented drivers.
Indeed it is, and the heat races are great because it's a good opportunity for these racers to get used to each other in racing conditions with that smaller field, and it gives us an opportunity to try and get used to some of the names, the numbers, the sponsors, colors, paint schemes, and the fans as well, trying to figure out who's hot, who's not, who's the favorite, and who should go on home packing here. And we are live and interactive here at VidaneTV. Join the conversation with hashtag VidaneTV. I'm over here in the Facebook chat. Aaron, you're over there. Aaron, Aston, you're over there in the Aaron's on Thursday night. You're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all the other nights. Aston, you're over in the YouTube chat, keeping tabs on that. Give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching from, who you're pulling for. We take the green flag once again here in heat race number 2.
Yeah, and the first 2 cars get lined up quite quickly. They get down to the bottom, but behind them is a battle for those final race positions or those final feature positions as they're a little tangled up back there again, but looks to be staying green. I think they got it all sorted out back there. Your top 6 seem to be single file as one up into the wall on the outside. That's going to just be that announcer's curse for the 8 car. As long as he doesn't fall back too far, he should still be in a great position to move on to the feature. Again, these guys are really racy. For a heat race in positions that they're already qualified. I don't know if anybody's told them that, you know, if you're in the top 6, you can kind of take it easy and just save the car for the feature.
Or you could use it as a little bit of a glorified practice session and see just how much you can beat and bang with that car. Or you could do what Casey Beatty's done 3 laps in a row. I know you saw that Nitro Design quick time up on top. You didn't do the thing. Tim's not here.
No, Tim's not here, and I didn't have the opportunity. I was too busy watching the 8 car, making the outside work there for a few laps, and I thought it was quite early for that outside to be a factor now. But clearly, it's fast on that top side. So there's something we're going to have to watch as the race goes on. You can see all the marbles up in the top side, so you can't get too far out of that groove, or you're going to be in trouble.
Going to take the checkered flag on this one. 45 car driving on away. A little side-by-side action to round out the second place position. We'll take a quick look, a brief and ferocious look at the unofficial results here for heat race number 2. Casey Beatty running away with this one, 2 seconds over Caleb Kramer in the 51. Riley McVetti going to round out the top 3. Lausier, Rochefort, and Haddock going to be the 6 drivers transferring on into this one. And well, everybody else, they're going to have to get into that Consi coming up later on in this one. And just like that, we're racking, restacking. We're getting ready to rock and roll for heat race number 3.
And on the front row of the third heat, you're looking at Jesse Bonnell in the 00 and Kyle Goodbout in the 017. Behind him in the 15, I don't think it's race control.
Wouldn't that be fun, though?
It would be fun. It would be a lot of fun if race control got to race one of the races. But we're going to get his name in a second here. I'm just scrolling through our stats trying to find out if we have a 15 on our list. If not, we'll make sure we find out who that is as soon as possible. But he's in the 15 car, so we know that at least. Beside him is going to be Carson Colby in the 14. Behind them in the 04 is Justin Prescott and the 68 of Eric Austin.
Turn the page just a little bit. Cole Eastman in the 81 car going to roll off P7. JJG Goodbout in the 92 car going to roll off P8. The 9th position going to go to the 9 car. Zachary out. Rupert Thompson going to be on his outside in P10. There's Jesse James rolling off P11. Aaron Thompson. We do have a substitute for Aaron Thompson. I have that note somewhere. It's on a sticky note. Where did I put my sticky notes?
I generally stick mine to my screen so I don't lose them.
That's usually what I do. It must have fallen off in the wind here. It happens all the time. But I do remember the Aaron Thompson's not in Aaron Thompson's car. I forget who the driver is. We'll find out later on, and we might even get a chance to talk to them later on in this one. But here we go. Lined up once again, 2 heat races down, 2 to go, Akansi, and then the big show, the main event of the evening. And you can see the iRacing has shut those lights off atop the cab of that safety truck, lined up 2 by 2, waiting for Barney up at the flag stand. There he goes, green flag racing once again.
2 by 2, and not a great start for that front row. They jumped out from the second row, but they didn't really get themselves organized too quickly. They do down the back stretch, but behind them is still 2 by 2 with the 04. Hard around. That's not generally somewhere we see somebody get turned to the top side of the corner. Generally, they turn them down to the inside. We'll go back to the U-House Racing Designs replay. As you can see, they're coming into 3 and 4, and just the 14 held his line. The 04 might have come up a bit, just some racing deals, and slid him up into the outside wall. And Kyle Goodbout, quick time. So a fast lap there in this heat.
And I see Prescott in the 04 car going to come down the safety at pit road, maybe get some tires, try and bang out some of the sheet metal on that machine. Tough hit, tough break early on in this one. Got to remember, top 3 are going to transfer, check that, top 6 going to transfer on into the big show here tonight, and then we're going to be taking 1, maybe 2 drivers from the Consi. So 30 drivers making the main event here this evening. Everybody else going to be watching from the infield, from the toter homes, or from the bar, from wherever they may be, but you'll be watching live with us here on VidaneTV, and we're going to catch up with some of the drivers here after the race too, because we're going to have ourselves a little watch party and take a peek at last week's race. But we got a lot of action already here in this third heat race. That 14 car resiliency, that is about half a dozen saves strung very much together for the Carson Colby machine. Tough break. The caution flag didn't come out, but heads up driving by the 14.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a new definition to handful of race car.
Yeah, that's why we like to see the bright hands. Maybe that's what we'll start calling it, the Bright Hands Award, where the drivers will have like the bright white or bright orange driving gloves in real racing and in sim racing as well. But Kyle Goodbout, quick time once again, 14:101. That's going to be one of the neat things that we have here at VidaneTV. One of the new toys and trinkets that we're messing around with is the quick time, the timing and scoring as well. Going to be able to tune in over on Vidane.tv/scoring. Pull it up on your smartphone or whatever you may have, and then you'll be able to keep up with the timing and scoring. Wingnut Productions on top of the sponsorship for that, and that is a work in progress as well. There you see the 14 car, I believe, pointed in the wrong direction as Carson Colby's still trying to get it sorted out. We stay green outside of the racing groove. Everything A-OK there, but we're going to take the white flag for that 17 car, Kyle Goodbout.
Yeah, great job by the 14 to stay up and out of the way, knowing it was coming to the final lap. As they come out of 3 and 4, the 17 is going to take the heat race win, and the 0 is going to double the double 0. There's quite a few cars that are going to make an appearance in the screen there on that last lap, but great job by the 17, the double 0, the 40, the 92, the 18, and rounding out the last qualifying position is Zachary Odette in the 9. Very well done by the top 6. And we're not done, Paul. I think we got one more heat and another group of 6 cars to qualify into the feature before we get to the very exciting Consolation round.
Yeah, and you and I both know Consolation racing is where it's at. That's where the excitement is. That's where you're going or going home or going and then going home. But before we get there, we got this final heat race going to be taking 6 into the main event of the evening. Eric Davis Sicard going to start P1. Bob Eldred going to roll off P2. Tegan Atkins going to roll off P3. Aiden Young, Cameron Ouellette going to round out the top 5 as Jake Grout going to roll off P6.
Right behind them in the 7th and 8th position, you got Kyle Willis and Jarvis Sodile. Jared Matthews, David Weir right behind them in the 9th and 10th position. 11th and 12th, Stephen Rocheford and Chris Terrian in the 5 car.
12 more cars, taking half of them into the big show. We're moving on to Consolation Racing after this. The lights are off atop that iRacing pace truck. We're lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, and we are getting ready to rock and roll. We're live and interactive here at VidaneTV. We're live all over the heckin' place. Twitch.tv/Strictly94. We're live on Twitter, VidaneTV. We're live on YouTube, VidaneTV. We're live on Facebook as well. Be sure to give us the like, the subscribe, the share. Let us know who you're pulling for, where you're watching from. We're going to take the green flag for the final time in the final heat race here at Southern National.
2 by 2 into 1. They're staying in 2 by 2, 2 by 2, 2 by 2, all the way down the backstretch there. Another great start, I should say, for the front row as they figure their stuff out. That high line, Paul, I'm going to sound like a broken record like I do every year, but that high line is something I love to talk about because it makes the racing so interesting. Some of the guys are using it early on in this race, and something I didn't expect. I expected that to come around the lap 50 of our feature, but it seems to be working up there for some of these drivers in the heat races. We have a new quick time, and that's Bob Eldrick.
That's going to be the leader in the 37 car, and that tells us one of the stories we're going to be keeping following all night long is the quick time seems to be coming from that fresh air. About 1/10 of a second difference between first and second. You can see 2, 3, and 4 all lined up nose to tail. A little bit of a gap back onto 5th. That's Jake Grout and Jarvis Stottel side by side. That is the battle for the transfer spot. Both drivers spinning around, collecting a handful of other drivers as well. Caution flag gonna fly. If that's not the commentary curse, I don't know what is.
I know there was one car late to the action there that slid through with no contact. And that is a great set of hands by that driver. As we go to the U-House Racing Designs replay, Paul, you caught it live. I'm not sure exactly what all happened here.
Yeah, you can take a look at it here in the slow-mo. I believe we've got this replay machine figured on out here. So there you can see they're side by side. That is 4-6. That's for the transfer spot. They cross the stripe, going to give it to the 17 there in that one, but they get into the corner just a little bit too hot to trot. There's the contact, the 90 up in there. There comes the car right in behind the 66. The 5 car skating on by. Nope, not skating by. There's the 21 shooting on through like nothing's happening. But man, oh man, that's going to be quite a bit of virtual sheet metal damage for some of these drivers trying to race their way into the big show.
It is, and there's only 3 to go in this heat, so there's not much time for them to make their way back up to that 6th position where they were battling for. So some of those guys we're going to see in the Consolation race right after this one. They won't have much time to turn those cars around, and that makes it a little tougher for these guys. Thankfully, they have the click of a button.
Indeed they do, and once they make it into the big show, they're going to be able to get a brand new car there as well. Going to take ourselves a quick break to get things sorted out. We'll be right back for the Consi race after this. Perfect time to rejoin the action. Consi Racing here in this one, getting all the bugs and whistles sorted out here at VidaneTV. Sorry about that, but we're back at it live. 18 laps to go here in the Consi, and this is exciting. The last two drivers, or the first two drivers rather, going to be making it into the big show here tonight. Seen some fantastic heat racing all throughout the evening here tonight. We've had over 45, I believe the official count here tonight is 47 iLate models showing up for 30 spots here in the second race of the season. This has been wild. We're in for a treat here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely we are, and with 17 to go in a consi with this many cars, and there's still anything that can happen. Those two front guys are kind of in the catbird seat, but doesn't mean anything with 17 to go as they're coming back to the green flag.
Oh, a little bit of a bump in action up in the front of the field. It's going to send the 20 truck, or check that, the 15 car around. That's going to be tough for Stephen Barnett. Going to grab a gear, spin that thing around. We stay green and clean, or clean and green rather. The 99 of Huntington having some issues there as well. Back up front, we're 3 wide, 2 wide for the lead, and then the caution flag comes out. The action is absolutely intense. There you can see some issues there for the triple one car. The Jegs machine down on pit road for Cole Eastman. Going to get some damage repaired on that. These guys are wild.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you get 47 cars bidding for 30 positions. So it's not that they're not great drivers. They're all very good drivers. They're all doing their best, and it's just so tight. It's such a small track, and as I said, 47 drivers, or 40 plus drivers, we'll say, because I'm not sure the official count, all going for 30 spots. So it's just a lot of tight racing, and with only 14 to go and not a lot of laps, you're really trying to make your moves when you can and as soon as possible. So that's all we're seeing here is just a little bit of I don't want to call it aggression, but a little bit of aggression to try and make your way into those positions to qualify for the main.
Yeah, there's a little bit of aggression in there too. You got to throw that. There's definitely a little dash of aggression, because everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to win, especially these races here on VidaneTV. And you can check out all of our races over on the YouTube page. Do a quick search for VidaneTV. Make sure you do it on the big screen as well. Any smart TV, easy enough for me to say, that's got that YouTube app. Do a quick search for us. There's over 600 races that we've done, and Ashley, you and I have called a whole bunch of races up on there. And man, we talked about it at the top of the show. When's the last time we've seen 45 plus late models show up for an event? This is crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time we actually had to send anybody home other than myself for the TCM races when I don't win.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because I bumped into Tim Terry just a couple of weeks ago at Dominion Raceway for the NX Asphalt Nationals, and he asked me, where'd you get that TCM feature winner stickers? Well, I know you're Deco guy, for one, and two, I got a podium in a TCM race. Yeah, it was the C feature for Smashed Potatoes 3 years ago, but still, it counts.
Every win is a win, so it counts.
Absolutely. Green flag going to fly once again. That 38 car going to get a good restart. Going to pull away by just a little bit. They're side by side for second.
Yeah, and they're sorting themselves out. A little sideways there for the 38 out front.
Up towards the back.
There is just calamity out back again. Those guys are just trying to make their way to the front to get themselves in position to try and be in the feature. The guys out front are sideways. The 38 all over the place. There's a car in the middle of the track, and well, that's a yellow flag.
13 getting a big old slap of the action there on that one. You saw some heads up driving by the 38 car. You thought it almost seemed like he was overdriving the corner just a little bit, but he was looking out that windshield. He saw that 13 car, saw his eyes looking right at him, and said, oh no, I'm not going to drive that way. Drove on down to the bottom side of the racetrack and was able to make it stick. Holds on to that third position, and this is going to get a little bit crazy. We're going to get the restart here, Ashton, with about 5 laps to go.
Yeah, not much time for these guys to make any moves. So if you're outside of that transfer position, it's going to be something to watch just outside of that transfer position to see what kind of moves they're going to start making on this restart. But I'm going to assume that the guy in, how many are they taking out of this, Paul? Is it another 6?
I believe it's another 6. 6 from each heat. And so that's 4 heats, 6, 12, 24. So then 6 from the consi would make 30.
Right. So you're looking at your 7th, 8th place car. They're going to be the ones that are going to be making the crazy moves right off the start. They're doubling up, coming around 1 and 2 here, coming down the backstretch. They're going to all be doubled up. The lights look like they're off on the pace truck. So it looks like we're coming back to green.
2 by 2 all the way through. We started this consi race with 23 cars taking the green flag, looking for 6 for the big show. For the main event of the evening, green flag flying with 5 laps to go here in the consi, beating and banging off of each other on the front row. 17 goes high, the 38 cars around, collects another couple of cars down towards the back of the field. We stay green in this one. Yellow flag comes out. Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, we said it earlier, Paul. We said that just because you were on the front row with 14 to go, it didn't mean that you had an easy race to finish off here. So as we look at the U-House Racing Designs replay, there was just a lot of calamity in front of these guys as the 38 went around. As you can see, they're 3-4 wide to start, and there's nowhere to go on a small track like this. Some of these guys somehow squeezed their way through. The 3-car did a great job sliding through the middle of that without any damage. Very well done by the 3-car.
A little bit of ring awareness, as it's called in the pro wrestling world. I guess it's technically ring awareness in the racing world as well, knowing your surroundings and kind of knowing what everybody around you is going to do. There you can see the car going around getting the free pass. I believe that's going to be Kyle Willis in the 43 car going around to rejoin the tail end of the field. And 3 laps to go. Little green-white checkered action for the Consi. This is why we love Consolation races, man. It is high intensity, high energy, trying to get into the top 6, trying to make the main event.
It's almost like a prelim. You mentioned wrestling, so it's like a prelim fight to the main event. Again, these guys are all bidding for a position in the big show, what we used to call the money show, it's not something that you take lightly. If you're in 7th or 8th, you can see that transfer position right in front of you, and you want to be the one to make that last lap pass and make your way into the main. It builds your confidence when you do something like that coming out of a Consi.
Indeed, it does. Lights out on top of the race car, the pace truck. Once again, shout out to Freddie Bannister watching along at the shop as well. Has got us up on the big screen. We're all over the internet. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on X, we're on Twitch. Give us a quick search, find us, follow us, share us, let us know, let your friends and family know you're watching a little bit of short track racing here live on VidaneTV. Pace truck going to the safety of pit road. 1 Mogan gonna get that green flag with 2, count them, 2 laps to go in the Consi.
2 by 2, about the 3rd row back as the 17 snuck his way behind the leader just to try and fall in line there. Now single file the first 4 cars, and the battle is for the transfer position out back behind those guys as there's a car sideways as we come down to the final lap. These guys are going to duke it out for the final transfer position. The top 4 single file, a little bit of distance between them as they come out of 3 and 4 to the checkered flag. And there we go, the 7 car will take that Consi win. Something craziness at the end. A couple cars sideways. Jared Matthews, Jarvis Scottle, Justin Prescott, Rupert Thompson, Jason Gunnett Jr., and Cameron Willett will round out your last transfer position. So Chris Terrian, PJ, Jacob, and Jake just missing out. That's your top 10, but those guys are going to put it on the trailer, and they get to enjoy the rest of the race. And Paul, I don't want to mention it, but I think a Canadian just won the Consi.
Indeed, they did. A lot of drivers here from the Northeast, the New England area, from up in Canada as well. Kind of our home base. We're here in southern New England, Connecticut to be exact. We tell everybody we're from near where the casinos are because we're out here, down here in the swamps in Salem, Connecticut. And we are up in Canada yourself, and we got to hang out a couple of times over the past year or so.
Yes, we have. I made the trip towards you. I'm going to say towards you because it wasn't to you, but it was towards you for the first time that we got to meet. And then from there on, you decided to come down and experience what a poutine was here in Canada. And I think you're going to come back for a couple more.
Oh, indeed. Indeed we are. Just looking, waiting for the schedules to get released. I know the Riverglade Revival Project with Gary on board with that, Gary McLean on board with that, coming back with a new date for that in July. That's definitely a solid maybe on the list for old Showtime here because, well, I did shake Gary McLean's hand and look him in the eye and said, you do this again next year, I'll be up here helping out. So that may very well be on the docket for next year. We'll see where the winds take us. It's been cool to be able to kind of bridge the gap between the real racing and the sim racing world. And you might have noticed last week we weren't on air last Monday night. That's because I was actually on my way home from the All-American 400. I got to run a camera over there, and we were all set up to do a mobile or a remote broadcast, and well, things didn't quite work out. It's hard to do that when you don't have power here at the HQ. But Pretty cool stuff, being able to bridge the gap between real racing and sim racing. If you see me at the track, if you see Ashton at the track, be sure to come on over, give us a high five, and give us a solid fist bump. And man, let us know where you're kind of watching from, what series you follow, who your favorite drivers are. It's been really cool for me, Ashton, to kind of tie that gap between real racing and sim racing, kind of put the faces to names here in the past year or two.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you brought me on board a year and a bit ago, I would say. After doing some Tim's Corner stuff, whenever I don't qualify for Tim's stuff, I generally just jump into the booth just to kind of be that third voice, kind of help you guys out and joke around and have a good time as we always do. And it was really cool when Tim mentioned to me, "Do you want to go down and do a race?" And on our way there, in the middle of the night when we were driving, he said, "Oh, by the way, Paul Strickland's going to be there." And after doing a handful of races with you, I thought it was really cool to be able to bridge, like you said, bridge that gap. We got to do some real racing together. You were on the camera way up 1,000 feet in the air. Okay, it wasn't that high, but it was way up there. So it was really cool to be able to hang out with you and meet you. And then, like I said, when you came down here, we were able to really do some touristy stuff, watch some racing together. And then, we each go our own way, and yet we stay connected through the virtual racing world. And thankfully, we've got sponsors that help us out with that, like Mad River Plumbing, home of the Mad Plumber. He's helping these guys out with this series. Like I said, doing a small Triple Crown event style within the full-on season. So if he's in your area, he specializes in the construction, kitchen, bathroom remodeling, all that kind of stuff. So find him on Facebook, shoot him an email, give him a phone call, and if you need anything like that, if he's in your area, I'm sure he'll get you all hooked up.
Now, Ashton, as an angry tree guy myself, this guy's the Mad Plumber. I know I like to get stuff done. This guy, he can. Well, I guess I can't say that because we're still not quite in prime time, so I can't say the bad words. But this guy definitely likes to get stuff done. So be sure to reach out to the home of the Mad Plumber and get your stuff taken care of. For sure. And it's also got to give a shout out to the sponsor of last week's race, DJ Loud, doing weddings, private parties, school events, all sorts of stuff. There you can see his number on screen. Be sure to give them a shout out. Get them on Facebook as well. And you and I both know the power of a good DJ is something to really behold at any kind of public event.
Oh hell, it hands down. If the DJ is on his game, the rest of the party is a breeze. And generally, whenever DJ Loud is around, he puts on a great entertainment and always keeps the party going.
Absolutely, and speaking of keeping the party going, for sure, got to give a shout out to Fast1 Motorsports as well, series sponsor for the Fast1 Motorsports Late Model Nationals, race number 2 here tonight, just getting wrapped up with the warm-up, and we've got ourselves a feature event here on the docket, and then stay tuned for after the show gets wrapped up. It's the show after the show. Going to kind of watch back last week's race and have ourselves a little roundtable discussion with some of the drivers joining us here in the broadcast booth.
So are we going to call that like the Fast One After Dark?
The Fast One After Dark. I like that. That's we'll have to get our logo guy on that, see if we can work that out before 150 laps here at Southern National.
Yeah, it should be a good time. It's gonna be something new that we haven't done yet, showing a replay after a race, and hopefully some of the drivers have some time to come up and talk to us, and maybe we can talk about the race we're about to have here as we're getting ready to rack them and stack them on the front stretch, and looks to be all the way around 3 and 4 at Southern National. We're about to start off the Triple Crown 150, again presented by Mad River Plumbing.
And indeed, we are going to take a look at the starting lineup. There you can see Kyler Davis winning the first heat race, starting on the pole. Casey Beatty going to be on the outside. Kyle Goodbout there in the third position. Bob Eldred winning that fourth heat race. Kyle Dumas and Caleb Kramer going to round out the front 6 starters.
And, of course, right behind them, the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th driver is going to be the 00 of Jesse Bunnell. And on his outside, you're going to see Tegan Atkins in the 88. In the 9th starting position, 30 of Ty Delphia. And the 10th is Riley McVetti in the 25. 11th is the 40 of Jesse Janes. And in 12th, Eric Davis Sicard in the 66.
something six-pack qualifying grid. Your name here. That's how we do it here at VidaneTV. Another six-pack of drivers for you on the starting grid. Alan Young going to start P13. LP Lauser in the 72 car going to roll off P14. JJG Goodbout. That's going to be fun to say all night long. Rolling off P15. Aiden Young, Connor Rauda, and Scott Rouchford. I've seen that last name a couple of times here. Going to round out the top 18.
In the 19th position is Aaron Thompson. Steven Rouchford, another one. In the 38, Luke Shannon, Connor Haddock are right behind them in the 21st and the 22nd position. 23rd and 24th will be Zachary Odette and David Weir,
And rounding out the field, there you see it. Jared Matthew in the 25 car going to roll off. In the 7 car, rolling off P25. Numbers, English language. Justin Prescott, Rupert Thompson, Jason Good Jr. and Cameron Ouellette going to round out the 30 drivers. We're coming to the green flag, Ashton. This is going to be a whole lot of fun, and we are doing it live. Green flag flies here at Southern National.
2x2 rolling into turn 1. As they come out of turn 2, they're still sideways, and they kept it all together. There was one little bit of a bump on the front stretch, or on the front row there, and everybody kept it in line as they are still 2x2. There's 150 laps of this, Paul. I don't think they're going to sort themselves out too quickly. This is a track that has multiple lanes, and as it gets hot and as the rubber really builds up, you're going to see a lot of tight quarter racing.
And we've seen these drivers practice throughout the sun time. The sun was out earlier on. It looks like it was almost dusk before, and now the sun's kind of out a little bit. So different track conditions throughout the day here this evening in the iRacing world. As the 45 car quick time so far, Casey Beattie got that fresh air we made mention in the earlier heat races here, Ashton. That fresh air is going to be a big time deal. Caution flag flies early though, as we are under yellow.
We are, and Paul, you made a really good point there right before the yellow flag came out. That clean air is going to make a big difference. We saw it earlier on in the heat races. If the U-House Racing Designs replay comes up, just a couple guys at the back just trying to figure their stuff out. The 8 car was kind of in the center there, backed out of it, and realized there was still plenty of time to get that position later on. Just a mix-up in front of the 90 and the 8, and the 90 gets collected last second there. That's a tough break for the 90. Doesn't look like it's too much damage. He should be able to roll away, get it fixed, and get right back in line.
Yeah, long way to go and a short time to get there in this one. So it's going to be plenty of time for these drivers to come down pit road and potentially gets the virtual machines worked on, and you'll be able to see that graphic pop up there on your right side of the screen anytime a driver comes down pit road. You'll be able to see just how long it takes them to get down pit lane, as well as how long they will sit in their pit stall to either get some tires or some work done, maybe a little bit of the gasoline in these late model stocks, because we know even in the sim racing world here, they do not run on hopes and dreams. They do need to get them at some point.
I can't wait for a vehicle to start running on hopes and dreams and not have to pay for fuel anymore.
Oh, could you imagine? That'd be so much good.
Sadly, I think we're still quite a bit of time away from that.
Little bit of time here to get re-racked and restacked. Still got the lights on top of the pace truck, so we're going to get them lined up. I believe that was the 2 to go that time by, with 143 left to go in the feature. From all accounts last week, we missed ourselves a little bit of a show last week in New Hampshire.
We did. It was, again, the same amount of a big number of cars that entered that first race of the season, and it was we'll see later on how great of a race it really was. You and I talked about it a little bit before the show, but Paul, they're coming to green. They are green, and the 45 had a great jump on that restart to get down in front of the 17 and take that bottom line away.
Goodbout and Eldred right there, side by side, battling it out for P2. The 17 going to move ahead just a little bit. That's going to be Kyle Goodbout taking that second position. Whoa, the 8 car having some issues there, getting the C's part of the 45 car going down a lap as well. Leader's doing a fantastic job getting around that lap traffic point in the wrong direction. That was sketchy.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere, and
out of nowhere.
It was a great job by all the cars, because we're still under green, so everybody was able to avoid the 8 car that was having some technical difficulties in the center of the racetrack there. Again, no fault of his. It probably just something that out of his control. So thankfully nobody got into him, but the 17 is falling back a little bit to the 45, and behind him is just a mess and a gaggle of cars battling for positions for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, it looks like.
And you can see that 45 car really liking the clean air on the front nose of that late model stock here in the iRacing world. And now's the best time to get into iRacing. You and I both know that iRacing, they do the Black Friday sales the day after Thanksgiving here in the U.S. It's 50% off for all new members, 25% off a year membership for any member that's going to get out there and renew. So if you want to get out here and race with these drivers and all the other drivers here on VidaneTV, be sure to check that out, iRacing.com. I don't think there's a little write-in spot, but if there is, let them know VidaneTV sent you.
As you can see, they've kind of figured themselves out here, Paul. They're single file, still 135 laps to go, so lots of time left in this race. These guys, I think, are just trying to find themselves a rhythm. A little bit of bumping and banging. I'm going to blame myself for that one, Paul. I saw the little bit of contact at the back there. The zero is upside down and in the wall. There's a couple cars collected there. We're still green. Yellow's out. Yellow, yellow,
good.
yellow.
That's a big time. Probably a bannable offense on that one, as you saw the zero car drive headfirst into the leader. And there you can see Ejecto Cedo. Looks like for the zero car. Good call on the admins for that. Tough break, though. We'll take a look at the U-House Racing Designs instant replay and find out exactly what went down. We kind of saw it out of the corner of our eye. You can see everything looking really good. Took a quick peek there on the 13 car. Nothing there. Tucked back in line. There's a bumpski there from the 15. Gets sent on around. You can see grabs the gear. Tries to get the car turned around. Big slam there by the 17. Sends him on up and around. So definitely understand the frustration, but I'm not sure I agree with driving into the leader like that.
Yeah, and that's just one of those things. I don't want to say he did it on purpose. I think he might have just been trying to get out of the way, but it's one of those, you hold the brake, you hit the reset, and you just try and get your car out of the way. But some damage to the 17 now, and the green 45 sitting there in second, I believe, is a lap down, so he should get a wave around as long as he wasn't involved. But some damage to the guys that were out front that were setting some fast laps, so this could change things early on in this race.
Yeah, still got a long way to go here. 131 laps left to go. And once again, got to give a shout out to everybody watching at home. A little bit of a crowd out there this evening in the Facebook world, the YouTube world, the Twitch and Twitter world as well. So be sure to give us a like, a subscribe, a share, all that good stuff. It gives you all the notifications, lets you know when we go live. And we are live 4 nights a week through the month of March. I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking filling out that schedule, especially with all the real racing stuff that's going on, but send it. That's what we do here at VidaneTV, and we're going to be doing it live Monday nights here with the Fast1 late model stock nationals. Going to be fun to catch up with these guys. Tomorrow night, Tuesdays, going to be catching back up with the RBR Maritime Group Season 8 race number 2 tomorrow night. That's going to be a blast with those guys. Wednesday night, the Turn 4 podcast, Winter iRacing League returns here with us with some street stock racing action. And then we're going to run the trucks on Thursday night with the NEP Super Truck Series. Holy moly. I can't even go through the week's schedule without running out of breath.
Paul, I don't think I could hit that high note you just hit with Super.
There's like 4 wrestling fans in the crowd that are going crazy right now. Green flag flies once again, and the 17 car gets the jump that he was looking for earlier on. He's going to pull away by a car leg.
Yeah, the 6 car right in tow, though, not wasting any time, dropped down to the bottom. He's running about half a lane up higher than the 17. Either saving gear or that's just the way the car wants to run, but his entrance is a little higher. Right behind him, they're doing some door banging, and he's just going to find that and pull away and stay the heck out of that.
Yeah, a pair of 13s going at it there for that 4th position, swapping some of that green and red paint back and forth, and that's good short track racing right there. They let each other know that they were there. There's some more beating and banging as the red and white 13 car going to go down on the bottom side of the green and black one up on the top side. They are still side by side as they cross the stripe.
Yeah, he come out of the corner, Paul, and the car's just so hard to hold down to the bottom at a track like this, so he just slid up, got into the side of him. No harm, no foul. He let the other 13, let the 13 know that the 13 was there. And they got it all sorted out. They're still side by side, and the 88's going to take full advantage of that racing action, and he's going to try and stick his nose down below the black and green 13.
So, yeah, race cars like elevator floors where there's not 13, so 13 and 13 aren't actually there, and the 88's actually in 3rd place?
It's something like that. I would assume so. Yellow's out.
Yellow flag flies towards the back of the pack. We like to keep things loose here at VidaneTV. If you're new to the show, we welcome you on board the. Well, it's not quite a train wreck because we do like to have fun here at VidaneTV. We're gonna take a peek at that U-House Racing Design instant replay. Here you see that red and black 45 car 3 wide on the left-hand side of your screen. I believe that's gonna be the contact. There it is, the 99 getting turned on around, and couple of cars getting collected up in this one. Couple of drivers doing really well. The 17, the 7 getting on by. The other 17 there as well getting on by without any damage.
Yeah, short track racing at its finest, Paul. The things happen so fast in front of you, and when you're in a pack like that, you got to make those quick decisions, and a lot of guys made the right decision on that one there. Tough break for the 99 who went around, sadly. But you mentioned the 45, our previous leader of this race, who just had some bad luck. He's already making his way up there, making himself known. Still 120 laps to go, so he's got lots of time, and he's making the moves to get back up to the front.
Indeed, we are going to rejoin the tail end of the field there. You can see that. I believe that's the 8 car going around getting the free pass. And look at the front 5, 6 cars here. There's some damaged race cars here. What are we, 30, 40 laps into this one? 30 laps into the 150 lapper? This is going to be a bit of a war of attrition, I think, to make it to the end of 150 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like we were talking about earlier, Paul, they were at New Hampshire last week. A little bit of a different style racetrack. So this is something, I don't want to say it's new to these drivers because I'm sure a lot of them have driven this racetrack before, but 30 cars on a tight racetrack like this, you're going to get some damage, and you're going to get it quickly because they're getting ready to come back to green.
And I got your text message there just a minute ago. You know you're in the catbird seat, and you can call for these at any time that you want. But we're going to call for this one real quick for the first time ever with the Fast 1 Late Model Nationals. Let's crank it up. God, I love short track racing. I love late models. The real ones, the sim ones. Late model racing anywhere is just fantastic.
Absolutely. And again, tight quarter racing. The camera shots were fantastic. Watching the right front camber, and the yellow is out again, Paul, on lap 115.
90 car pointed. Oh, 90 car getting a piece of the 21 car as well. Excuse me, pardon me. I can't park there. 90 car trying to figure that on out. Let's back that replay up and take a peek at Cameron Ouellette here. Almost 3 wide there in front. Gaggle of cars all the way around the racetrack. A little bit of a nudge from the 72. A-OK there. Bigger nudge there from the 72. That time a piece of the action from the 17. Got around okay. Bam! Big hit from the 51. That's no bueno on that. That's going to cause some damage on the 21. And you can see the 21 car coming on down to, well, give him a little bit of a fist bump, I think, with the front of that car.
Yeah, the 90 cars had a tough night. He had a little bit of struggles in the heat race from what I remember, and this feature, although he made the feature, so I mean that's objective number 1 is to make the feature, and that's what he did, and he's just getting caught up and stuff in the back. He got bad luck early on, and then one of the first yellows just got clipped and went around. It didn't look like too much damage, and now it looks like he's going to have to go down pit road. I think he's got a little bit more to repair.
Yeah, going to get some of the virtual sheet metal damage taken care of there. The 17 car still up front. You want to talk about numbers real quick? We had 47 drivers show up to try and qualify into this one. Took 6 from each of the 4 heat races. We took 6 from the Consi. That gave us the 30 drivers that started this race here with 111 laps to go. 18, going to be 19 drivers with the free pass on the lead lap, and there is still plenty of time for a handful of these drivers that are stuck 1 lap down to try and get that free pass because, well, you and I both know that these short tracks, when there's a yellow flag, they usually breed multiple yellow flags.
Yeah, absolutely they do, especially on a short track like this, and they really haven't got into a consistent rhythm. We've had a couple green flag runs, but nothing to be able to say that they've gotten themselves in a rhythm and settled in. There's still guys battling for positions, trying to get that track position. Still with 110 laps to go. Track position is always important on a short track like this.
Indeed it is. There goes the pace truck down to the safety of pit road once again. Going to grab a corn dog and a Coke. We're going to take that green flag and watch some of the racing action once again, and a great start by that 17 car all the way down to the bottom side, able to clear the 6 and move ahead by about a car length, maybe 2. And you got to wonder, as this race goes on, that sheet metal damage up on the right front of that 17 car, is that going to affect how fast that car is? And is it going to affect how it handles getting on into the night?
One of my main concerns with that damage, Paul, would be the temperature of the car. If you get into these long green flag runs, now he is lucky. He's got a lot of air on the front nose being out in front right now, and temperature is not too hot out there, but as you know, these cars run a little hot as the white 13 goes around in the middle of the pack, and most clear. Somehow the 17's around in 3 and 4 as he gets collected a little bit more. Blue and white 17 just sideways through the middle of 3 and 4. So a little bit of action going on everywhere as we watch the U-House replay, the U-House Racing Designs replay, I should say.
Yeah, lots of action all over the racetrack. We'll take a look here from the chopper. We can take a peek. There's a little 2, almost 3 wide action here. There's the red and white car rather, getting spun on around and pointed wrong direction. And you can see collecting another couple of cars there as well. We've seen that 13 have some issues. I believe that's going to be Caleb Kramer. Nope, that's Caleb Kramer there in the 51 car, able to get down and away. So tough break, trying to get these cars sorted out. We know that we kind of talked about it earlier on with the changing track positions, because that's one of the deals that iRacing has. Everything is kind of dynamic. As you get through the evening, the track changes, the air changes. You can see we're kind of getting into the sunset now. Beautiful shot as the sun going down there in turns 3 and 4, and it might be something that the drivers didn't think to kind of practice onto, because it might be just a little bit cooler than it was earlier on. It may very well be a little bit warmer. 81 degrees is still pretty warm for a November night.
It is, and the track temperature changing comes with the rubber being put down in the racetrack too. So we ran the heats, we ran the consies. There's marbles up top, so if you just get out of that groove, you could get yourself into a loose car situation. If you're down in the groove, the tires are getting hot quickly, so you got to maintain those. You can't get them getting angry at you and losing any of that. There's still 100 laps to go once we decide to go green here. That's a long race on a set of tires. So I'm not sure if they have a set of tires ready on pit road, but if they do, it's most definitely something they're going to have to look at. There's guys making moves though. Rupert Thompson up 22 spots, since the start of the race. That's a lot of gains. So it just shows those guys in the back you don't need 100 laps to make up the positions.
For sure. There you see green flag flying once again. 17 car able to clear once again, and that's going to be the name of the game throughout this one, is getting into that clean air early on, because you and I talked about it during the heat races. That clean air is absolutely everything. These late models love clean air. The 6 car, though, right on the back bumper, right in the tire tracks of the Good Bout machine. Kyler Davis trying to make that 6 car do its job and get up into that pole spot.
Yeah, right behind them, the battle for third is heating up as the 13 car on the top side, the 24, and the 88 looking below the 24. We were almost 3 wide coming out of that corner. That 88 car looks really strong. We saw him come into the picture earlier when the 13s were battling. Feel like he's buying his time. He's doing a very good job at keeping that car right down on the bottom of 3 and 4 on the exit. You don't see too much squirrely going on. He's doing a very good job at picking the spots to make the moves and picking up the positions.
One driver not biding his time. The driver right in behind that 39 car, moving all the way up. 24 spots gained here in 52 laps so far. You can see that side-by-side battle is the top 5 right in front of him. Kind of holding on right now, riding in the tire tracks of the 88 car down on the bottom side. But that purple and orange machine is not done. I'm going to say look for that 39 car to be up in the front towards the end of this one.
Most definitely one to watch, Paul. And again, this is our first time kind of running through these drivers, so a little bit something that out of our comfort zone. We're used to announcing guys that we know and know which ones to watch, but most definitely those ones are standing out to us early on in this 150 lap race with 95 to go.
Front 10 cars pretty much single file. You can see a gaggle for 10th on back as they're side by side, beating and banging, but they're having themselves a bit of a blast. Look at that green and black car up on the top side. Lots of damage on the front of that car. That car, that tells me that car's fast because it's hitting things that are in front and saying, excuse me, coming through.
And he's not giving them the 1, 2, 3 warning. He's giving the one and go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about all he's doing.
And that's 1,000%. Oh, yellow flag once again here.
Yellow's out with 93 to go, so we're going to take a quick peek at the U-House Racing Designs replay, see what where the problems occurred, but the 17 was starting to catch some lap traffic, so that's something else we're going to have to keep an eye on.
You can see the 17 goes up a little bit high at that point. Oh, contact with the 6 car. That was your leader getting sent on around on the front straightaway. We're going to see if that holds up. That's a tough break because that's showing the 17 car now being scored the last car on the lead lap in 18th position. So,
yeah, that's a quick turnaround for the 17. Again, we know he's got a really fast race car. Still 90 laps to go, so plenty of time for him to make his way through. Something that I don't think he expected the 6 to be there. Just watching that replay, I think he thought the 6 was going to back out of that this early on in the race, and the 6 said, you know what, it's go time for him right now, and he wants the clean air. We talk about clean air and how important it really is. So the 6 and the 24, I'm going to say, are the 2 cars with the least amount of damage on them in the top 5. We know the 13 had a little bit of a battle with another 13 earlier on, so we know there's maybe some side damage to that car, but it doesn't look like there's anything to the front of it. Same thing with the 88 right behind them. He's going to move up to the top side, and I haven't seen him up there yet. So the guy that I was saying that is the one to watch might be in a little bit of trouble on that high side.
And there you can see lined up 2 by 2 once again. The lights out in the iRacing pace truck. Going to get the green flag with 88 laps to go. That 88 car going to restart P4. Maybe it's a good omen for the end of this one. Green flag flies. Great push there from the 88 to the back bumper of the 24. Not sure if that was a misgear up on the high side or not, but going to slide on back to a side-by-side battle for second as the 6 car doesn't get a penalty that time for the contact. He pulls away by about a car length going into 1.
One of those racing deals, and it put the 24 back into the clutches of the 13, and as they're wrecking behind them,
parking lot
on the front stretch.
There's going to be some sheet metal for sale here. Sheet metal for sale. There's the pace truck.
It's a little too early to be parking for Christmas, Paul.
Yeah. There come the leaders. That's going to be tough. We'll back this up. We'll take a peek, and hopefully they get it all sorted out once we get done with this U-House Racing Designs instant replay. But there you see it from the old blimp view. Close quarter race in the 6 into the back of the, I believe, the 08 car, the JED machine, and that's what you call blocking the track. That's a tough scenario to be able to see. The 17 just kind of backed up to get a better view, and the door's not opening.
No, and that was a tough deal. You saw the 6 back out of it right away. I think he knew he made a mistake. He didn't mean to get into the guy in front of him. He backed out of it, but it was just too late. Especially center of the corner off, you're already getting on the throttle, so the minute you lift those back tires and let them drop back down again, that car's going to whip around really quickly. So tough luck for the guys at the back there. They're not having much luck tonight. It seems like those back markers, every time they come around the track, there's a blockade somewhere, and they have nowhere to go.
That's the glory of short track racing. That's as you can see, the sun kind of going down. It becomes a little bit more difficult to see around here, but it kind of changes the dynamic because it gets rid of that sun glare view, and now you can almost see the cars start to look just a little bit different as we ride on board with the current leader, the 6 car Kyler Davis. You can see some lap traffic up in front. They should get waved by here this time by, and I believe that'll give us the 1 to go. So a little better than 80 laps here to go at Southern National. Second race here on this season, and it has been an action-packed night so far here tonight with the heat races, the Consi that was just absolutely off the chain, and now we've got this main event of the evening. As you can see, Kyler Davis going to pull up to the back bumper of the pace truck. We're going to get ready to go racing once again.
Yeah, it looks like the lights are off on the pace truck, so they're going to double file up here quickly. They might extend this one, but it doesn't look like they will. Looks like they got sorted out pretty quickly. The truck's down on pit road. They hit the line, and they are green. And again, great start by the 6, the 88, pushing the 24 to trying to get him going. It'd be interesting to see what the 88 could do on that top side on the front row.
Absolutely. Keep an eye on that 39 car there as well. Most spots gained, almost 3 wide. They thought about 3 wide there for that second position. They think better of it. 24 going to try and attack the top position on the top side of the racetrack. That's where Grandma keeps the cookies, up there on the top shelf. 24 trying to make that magic happen.
Did you just take a hockey term and turn it into a racing term?
I did. How do you like them, Persimmons?
I absolutely love it. That's the most Canadian thing you've said.
Here we go. 24 going to make that top side work. Trying to slide on down in front of the 6 car. Not going to work. But that 88 going to try and go up on the high side. Now he's side by side for second. The 6th machine going to drop on back to 3rd.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier, but I hadn't seen him run the top side in the 88 car. But he's most definitely making the outside work. He makes another pass on the 6 car, who was our leader nearly, 3 laps ago. Now he's fallen all the way back to 3rd. Maybe a strategy play here. He got the lead. He led some laps, fall back a little bit, and just watch these guys duke it out and be there at the end. But the 88 and the 24 are on a charge to the front.
There you can see, tied for the most spots gained. Going to be the 04 and the 39. Rupert Thompson and Justin Prescott, 22 spots gained on the evening. Connor Heidick, 14 spots. Steve Rochford, 13 spots. Alan Young in that 24 car gained 12 spots to get up into the lead right now. Alan Young holding on to the top spot, and that 24 car has pulled away by about 5 or 6 car lengths already.
Yeah, he's on the move, and again, it could have been a situation if he was just having to work his way through traffic, and it took him time. And now he's got the clean air, he's got the nose all cleaned off, and he is flying around this racetrack. It's one of those things that, Paul, that you don't want to get too far ahead because they're going to chase you down quickly and you're going to catch lap traffic. But you also don't want to stay back there. With the amount of yellows that we've had, the more distance you can make for them, the better.
A little bit further on back, you can see fighting to stay inside the top 10. Going to be that former lead of the 45 of Casey Beatty. Moving on into 9th there on the bottom side, getting around the 77 of Scott Rochford, trying to make that bottom side work. You can see some damage there on the right front of the 77. There's so many damaged late models here in this one, and I don't think we've seen the end of it. And up in front, you can see that 39 car now side by side as well, trying to take that spot away from the 66.
The longer the run goes, Paul, the harder it's going to be to hold these cars' rear ends straight. I saw it a couple of laps ago on a car coming out of 3 and 4, the back end all sideways and all out of shape, and that's just one of those things that as those tires get hot, it's going to be harder and harder to hold on to. And these guys haven't had a really long run, and as I say that, the yellow flag comes out with 69 to go. So it's once these tires warm up, these cars are a little bit harder to handle than usual, especially this late. I'm going to say this late in the race because we're past halfway, and there's probably not much tire left to these cars, so they're going to have to start nursing them around. As we go to the Ute House Racing Designs replay, the 60 got a little bit of help going around and then met its match, so and took a hit to the front, so he was already sideways. And another 13 car. I mean, we got enough 13 cars in this race to make their own race, but he was already a little loose. The 13 nowhere to go, got into the back of him. And 60 car did a great job. Tried to get it down to the bottom, just ran out of time and room.
Yeah, tough spot to be in for sure. And you can see going to get, looks like they might have got a quick repair on that 60 car. So still hope out there for the Jesse James fans hanging out watching live on VidaneTV. First car 1 lap down, looks like, here as well. So definitely still some hope there in the 60 camp. Down and away, 4 fresh tires, and it looks like they did get a lot of damage repaired. 2 laps down, though, for the 60 Vermont machines. We'll see what they can do as they rejoin the field. 66 laps to go. We're going to get that restart with about 64, maybe 63 laps to go. This has been a barn burner so far here this evening.
It has been a lot of great side-by-side action, and as I said earlier, this is a very tight track, so, you know, some people would say, oh, a lot of cautions, a lot of yellows, and so on and so forth, but it's really been a great race. These guys have done a great job keeping the cars underneath them. for most situations. They're not an easy car to handle on a short track like this. So these guys are doing a really good job out here. They've come from a lot bigger track, a lot different to this track compared to New Hampshire. So again, these guys are doing a great job. It's a lot of fun racing, side-by-side racing, short track racing. There's going to be some rubbing. There's going to be some yellows.
Indeed, there are. The 77 going to get the free pass, rejoin the tail end of the field, putting 14 cars on the lead lap. We're all lined up 2 by 2 all the way through, and the lights are off in the iRacing pace truck. We're getting ready to go racing once again. Alan Young in the 24 car down on the bottom side, the 88 up on the high side. That's going to be Tegan Atkins. Green flag flies. We're door handle to door handle as we head into turn number 1.
A great start by the 24, who's, I honestly thought the 88 was going to get the jump on him on the outside, just seeing the previous restarts, but 24 control car, easy start for him, restart for him. He was able to jump out front, but the 88's not giving up on the top side. They are 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, pretty much all the way through the field, which we haven't been able to see lately. Usually they get themselves sorted out within 2 or 3 laps, so some great side-by-side battles, some drivers that we haven't been able to talk about much coming up to the front, the 66, the 39, and the guy that we saw leading early on, the 6 car, still kind of in the picture, sitting in 5th.
6 cars back there. You can see the 24 car, or the 45 rather, try to rejoin the top 5, battling it out in the second half of the top 10. How about that 39 car? The more rubber we get down on the track, the more that high side is working. The 39 car getting ready to take the Thompson team into that 3rd spot. A little bit of a slip up that time for the 66. I think that 39 car is going to be a little bit of a slip up there as well. Still side by side, though, trying to chase down the leaders.
Yeah, the key to that high side is to kind of pinch that bottom guy so he can't get that momentum rolling up to the top side and get up to your door. So if he can keep him down the track just a little bit, he should be able to hold a bit more momentum and complete that pass. But what a great job by both those drivers, staying off each other, racing very clean and putting on a show.
Speaking of putting on a show, take a look at these top 2 drivers. You can tell these guys have raced with each other before. Lots of give and take here with the 24 and the 48. You can see the 88 kind of moving up the track. Atkins kind of leaving that bottom side open just a little bit. You can see the 24 car of Alan Young taking a peek down low, looking, taking a quick sniff, noticing not going to be able to get down in there, backing off the throttle, tucking back in. That's racing with respect right there. The 24 and the 88 putting on a clinic, battling it out. That's how short track racing is done here on VidaneTV.
Yeah, some great racing here, and like you said, he keeps peeking his nose down there, and it's a lot of fun to watch. I'm smiling from ear to ear over here, watching this 2 by 2 battle. The 45, who we saw leading this race very early on, he took the original green flag out front. Now he's making his way back up into the top 5, again using that high side. So something that I mentioned early on in the heats, they were using it, and it was kind of starting to come around. The 88 seems to think that is the preferred line now. The 24 keeps poking his nose below. The 88 just has the momentum off the corner.
And one of the coolest things for me here with VidaneTV is we can always tell when the drivers are watching on board, because we were talking about how cleanly they're racing for 1 and 2 between the 24 and the 88. While we were talking about that, they were going 3 wide cleanly, beating and banging off of each other for 3rd place. And you can see they are still side by side. These Fast 1 late model national drivers putting on an absolute clinic here for Monday Night Racing. A little bit past the 2/3 marker here, just about at the 2/3 markers. We're approaching 50 laps to go.
50 laps to go, and back into the picture. In 3rd place, that 3rd place car is the 45, red and black. He got caught up in some calamity early on in this race. Obviously had a fast repair. Lap cars diving down to the bottom, getting out of the way. Great job, great respect by those guys. The 45's not done, and I said that early on, Paul, that he had lots of time to make his way back up as long as he didn't get caught up in anything else, and he found the high side when these guys went single file on the bottom, and he's now sitting comfortably in 2nd position. As we go on board, he's got the black gloves, Paul. We're going to have to teach him to get the bright whites on so that we can call his hand movements out a little easier, but he dives to the bottom of the 88. I didn't think the bottom was going to work, and the 88's got the momentum on the top side. They're door-to-door going into 3 and 4.
Gotta have a chuckle as soon as you pull up the onboard cam. It says, "Get off my ass" on the back of the 88 car. So the 45 says, "All right, I'm going to go around." New leader, the 45 car. How about it for Casey Beattie?
What a run by the 45 red and black machine. He has that thing dialed in to this racetrack. And what a show he's put on, coming all the way from the back, as I said, involved in something a little confusing earlier on in this race. The 88 up into the wall. He's using all the racetrack, trying to make the racetrack a little wider.
And this is where it's going to start to get a little bit squirrely. Casey Beattie came down pit road 22 laps to go to get some fresh tires. 106 for everybody else. They're still on the same set of tires. Eldred in the 37, Kyle Goodbout on the fresher tires as well. Kyler Davis, Luke Shannon having those 20-lap tires as well. So it might be one of those deals. If we get ourselves another caution here in the next 10, 20 laps, if there's only 15 cars on the lead lap and you've got that pair of stickers down on pit road, do you come down and do you take them?
I would say, Paul, there's no question. You got to go down and at least take right sides. You see the difference the tires are making. The way he drove around the 88 on the bottom there. We were talking about the bottom not necessarily maybe being the preferred line. When tires are going away, you want to move up the track and allow that momentum to really carry you around. So 45 getting those new sticker tires, kind of proven to these guys, maybe it's time to swing down, but there's also only 40 to go. So what point is the threshold of saying, no, I can't make up the amount of positions I'm going to lose if I go down pit road?
And Kyle Goodbout, you can see the time to go is now. We've seen a lot of give and take from these drivers up in the front and towards the back, all the way through this field. But when does the give end and the take over? And I think that time is now. There you can see some squirreliness going on. Little drivers with some receipts. The 13 and the 9 beating and banging on each other. Still beating and banging in front of some lead lap drivers. Getting turned on around. Oh, the race official's not going to like that one. That might be one of the bonehead moves of the race. There's the yellow flag. We got that sorted out.
Yeah, that was one of those situations that I think the spotters needed to let them know, hey, guys, these are the leaders. We got to let them by, and then we can keep doing what we got to do. But the leaders, sadly, a few of the leaders getting involved in that one as we go to the U-House Racing Designs replay to see exactly what started all this.
Yeah, still working on the kinks here. There you can see that's a tough. Now we'll take a look at it in full song here. 13 just kind of drove into the 9 and continued the job into the right side wall. There you can see 9 not happy with it. Right in front of the leaders, there's the 13 taking another shot, and he's going to try and brake check. The 9 then does that. So tempers flare. You and I both know that real racing, sim racing, you're always going to get mad, but never really agreed with fighting inside the race car. Get out, take the helmet off, and handle it.
Yeah, and I mean, at least send us a replay if it's going to be a good one.
Right. Maybe we'll start talking to some of these drivers to hop on WWE 2K20K or whatever it is now, whatever the new one is, 2K24. Maybe we'll start doing some fight nights after race nights here.
I mean, we're already talking about the fast one after dark. So I mean, we need some content if we're going to keep this going.
Indeed we are. That's what we're all about with content. Once again, thank you so much for joining us here. Little Monday night action with the Fast 1 Late Model Nationals Series, race number 2 here in this one. Once we get wrapped up with this 150 lapper, we're going to take ourselves a quick little break, and we're going to come back and take a peek at the tapes. We weren't live, but the cameras were in fact rolling last week. Going to take a look at last week's 50 lapper at Loudon to open the season. Didn't quite look at all the spoilers, but I heard it was an absolute barn burner. Tomorrow night, back with it, the RBR Season 8, Ocho, as it were, race number 2 for their season. Turn 4 podcast, the Winter iRacing League here on Wednesday night, and the NEP Super Truck Series on Thursday. And that's going to be live from Virginia International Raceway, because I'm a glutton for punishment, and I want to do iRacing shows at real racetracks as we take we take the white one to go. We're getting ready to take the green flag. There it is. Barney and the flag stand says, stop talking. Let's go racing with just about 30 laps to go.
45 right back out to the lead. Great jump with those new tires. The black and green 13 with the black and green 13 to the outside. This is going to have to be sorted out at one point, Paul. And the 6, who we saw lead early on in this race, same thing with the 17, getting their way back into this picture. So we don't count them out. With 32 to go, they've obviously got a little bit fresher tire. I'm sure the 17's got something a little fresher than the 6. So something to watch as the 17 makes his way back through the field. He's in the top 6.
And that's one of the deals we're still working on, and we'll work on getting better throughout the season, is our spotter packs. Because, well, you knew there was a 13 car. We knew there was a green and black 13 car. And there you can see 2 black and green 13 cars battling it out for P2. So we'll get a little bit better with that. Meeting a lot of these drivers for the first time here tonight. And that's what's one of the cool things is a lot of these drivers are, in fact, from the New England area, from Eastern Canada and the eastern parts of the United States. And that's kind of our home territory here in at VidaneTV. And we like to kind of travel up and down the East Coast, going to different racetracks in the real world. So be sure to give us a shout if you're at the track and want to get together and have an adult beverage or two. Maybe grab a Kool-Aid or a Diet Coke if that's what you're into. But, man, this has been a phenomenal race. You can see the 45 car with those fresh tires. It's 11 o'clock at SmackDown Hotel because that 45 car is checked out.
Yeah, he's gone, and the only concern for him is if he starts catching lap traffic. As we saw earlier, it could get a little scary again. So you might want to let the field catch back up to him and slow his lap times down just a little bit so he doesn't get involved in anything. But behind him, side-by-side racing, allowing him to get away. The 04, I didn't even see him sneak into the picture, but he's on a mission to the front, and he's still on the bottom side, swinging it up to the top side. They wreck in front of him. They're all around. That was just a racing incident, Paul. That's one of those situations that was just close quarters, tight racing.
Yeah, that was definitely on the rough side. We'll back up to U-House Racing Design instant replay. We'll take a peek, a little slow motion action, and that pair of 13s was doing a fab job, doing a little side-by-side action, putting on a clinic, as we like to say here at VidaneTV, because, well, we're fans of short track racing. We know what it should be, and, well, we can recognize when some drivers got it all sorts of figured out. But you called it right off the rip. Definitely a racing deal here in this one. We got 25 laps to go. We're going for the first broadcast win here on VidaneTV. There you can see they are almost 3 wide. They thought about it towards the back, and then they see this happen up in front of them. 13s both get collected. There you see the 9 car getting down and around, the 66 car getting a piece of the action. How about that purple 39 car? That's some big heads-up racing. Got up out of the groove, out of the way. You can see the 54 car pointed in the wrong direction. Check that. That's the 84 car. But I think the big winner in that one may very well be the 39, able to skate on through without any additional damage.
Absolutely, and that's the heads-up driving you were talking about, the ring awareness, as we were saying earlier on. Just looking, 3-4 cars ahead of you to make sure. And if you don't have a spotter, a lot of these guys using just the iRacing in-game spotter. Some guys I know have the a friend of a friend or a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend that decides to jump on and be a spotter. So that can sometimes help out. But great job by the 39, like you said, loaded up, got out of the groove, and just slowly made his way through it and was able to come out of there without any damage, cleaning off the tires because he was up in the marbles. He's got himself in a pretty position in 4th.
And you can see is some of these drivers that had a little bit of that damage on the cars not quite having the damage now. So there might have been some guys that came down, used that quick repair on pit road to make sure they've got exactly the best car for the end of this one with 21 laps to go, 20 at that time by. We're going to get the green flag next time by. Little bit of damage there on the 45 car up on the right front. I don't think it's going to affect it too much because the tires are so much fresher. Got to keep an eye on P3, P4. Those guys just came down. The 39, the 24, they came down about 20 laps ago, it appears, to get some tires. So this is going to get squirrely. 20 laps to go. Green flag flies once again.
Great jump by the 45 again on the outside. He's able to just wheel his way down to the bottom in front of the 17, take that clean air away. As the 24 and the 88 are going back at it again, and they have been racing side by side for multiple laps. As the yellow is going to come back out, so they're going to have to re-rack them, restack them. And Paul, I just wanted to mention again, we still got 18 to go. We're on all the social medias, and we're interactive. The YouTube chat is jumping off. There's a couple guys in there, a couple guys that are actually drivers that have jumped over to watch the scene that didn't make the race. So thank you guys for jumping in. Thank you guys for being interactive. And as long as we keep the conversations clean, we can talk about whatever we want. I know Zachary's got popcorn, and I asked him if he could send me some.
See, that's what we need to do. We need to find a popcorn sponsor here at VidaneTV. Get some nice little custom bags and then we could go out and get you VidaneTV popcorn and watch VidaneTV on the big screen. It'd be perfect.
But see, we've got it all figured out, especially with the pizza box T-shirts.
But they don't know about the pizza box, dude. Shh. That's not a thing yet.
But now we've mentioned it, and we don't got to talk about it. We just mentioned it. They're all going to be curious.
I mean, I guess we could spill the cheese on the pizza boxes, could we not? Well, actually, we gotta line the stuff up to put on the pizzas first.
Yeah, we need the pepperoni and the bacon.
And the bacon and the cheese, and we'll put the pineapple on the side. We're all inclusive here at VidaneTV.
I'm okay with pineapple on half. You know, why don't we just half and half?
Maybe a quarter. Because I mean,
okay, sure.
I mean, I'll compromise a little bit.
Hey, yeah, I'm good with that.
I mean, I'm almost 40 years old. Like, I have to compromise now at this point. Nothing? No? Bueller?
I was just reading the chat. I didn't think I was going to have too many people in the chat here today, but yeah, it's going off. It's a lot of fun to talk to these drivers and the fans over on the social medias.
Yeah, and absolutely. It's going to be something to behold, too. You and I are going to be working together. Once we can both find just a little bit of downtime to bust out all the details, but you and I have a very special mashup going on with the merchandise deal that we've got. A little bit of Calamity working on, so I believe we're probably going to get one of those extendo cautionos here for this one.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff in the works here, Paul, and it just takes us time being multiple hours away from each other and a border in between us, but we've got a lot of stuff planning, and the more leagues and series that we jump into, the more we can expand all the fun things that we want to have involved and have these series and leagues involved in that kind of fun stuff, right? We can add some merchandise, we can add some extra broadcasts to the weekly schedule because you got lots of time on your hands.
Yeah, we can call it that. Whoa, a little squirrely down there for the black and green 45, but the red and black 45 going to take the green flag with 12 laps to go. The 17 back on the high side and back on the hunt, going to slide into the tire tracks for right now. Alan Young in the 24 car there as well, and don't look down, but that black, purple and orange 39 car of Rupert Thompson trying to break into the podium. Heading into 3 and 4, coming on to 10 laps to go. 10 fingers from Barney up in the flag stand. The top two, they have pulled away. They've got it sorted out. Single file, the 45 car of Casey is doing a great job pulling away. Just busted off another quick time. 14.184. Quickest lap of the night going to come on lap 141 with 9 laps to go. Ashton, things are picking up.
Things are picking up. The tires matter clearly at a racetrack like this, a short track, and the 24 is not done on the high side. He's working his way around the 39. 39's a whole, look at that wheel turned hard to the bottom, trying to keep himself off the 24 as we go from behind that battle in the Rochefort machine. Watching, he's got a front seat to a great side-by-side battle through 1 and 2. They're not leaning on each other, but you could barely fit a piece of paper in between those two.
And they've been doing it for a handful of laps. We saw that 24 car very strong on the high side, very strong on the low side, and trying to hold on to that third position right now. The 39 of Thompson, though, doing everything he can to get that car all the way down to the bottom. Little bit of contact once again going into 3 and 4. The 39 checks up, gets a little bit around. The 39's around, saves it once again. 5 laps to go, still green.
Yeah, we stayed green. Great job by the 66 to let him gather it up. The leaders are going to start pulling away now. If the 17 has anything in his back pocket, he needs to bring it out now. They're catching some lap traffic who should slide down out of the way. The 45 in the green car. They're just having a rough night. We saw him run earlier, involved in a little bit with now 4 to go. The battle is heating up front. The 17 slowly, I was just going to say he's got his opportunity now as the 45 tags the wall, but he followed him up there as they need a little bit wider of a racetrack to keep this going as we go on board with the 17. The white gloves, he's sawing at the wheel, trying to keep it down to the bottom. You see the 45 sideways. He's doing everything he can to keep that car straight as we come to the white flag.
White flag, white rag for the black and red number 45 car. Just has to hit his marks one more time. Casey Beattie heading on down into 3 and 4. Lap traffic in front. Not going to be an issue for the 45 car. Casey Beattie going to win tonight's feature. 150 laps in the books for that 45 car.
What a race, Paul. The 17 gave him all he had. He was trying his best to catch him. Looks like the 24 held off the 88 for third. A great run by the top 5. Altogether, a great race, Paul. We had a little bit of a delay last week, but the anticipation was great as the 45 celebrates on the front stretch.
There you can see burning them down for sure, and we'll take a peek at the finishing results here as well. And we're going to talk to those top 3 drivers here momentarily, but there you can see Casey Beattie taking home the checkered flag, still burning them down there on the front straightaway. Kyle Goodbout going to take that P17 or that 17 car in at P2. Alan Young in the 24 car going to finish in third. Great side battle between Young and Atkins, who ended up in the 4th position. Great run for the 6 car as well. Kyler Davis rounding out the top 5. Aiden Young, Justin Prescott, Steve Rochefort, Rupert Thompson, and Bob Eldred going to round out the top 10.
Great race by all those top 10 drivers. It was a little bit of a battle of attrition, but they all figured it out. They got their way through it. It's the second race of the season. I'm sure they're still knocking some rust off. It's one of those deals, Paul, that you just got to be patient early on in the race, and that's what some of these guys locked in and got it done at the end of the race.
Absolutely, and going to slide up pit road just a little bit, catch up with our second place driver, that 17 car. Pretty quick all night long. Kyle Goodbout, talk to us, man. What was it like getting up to the finish in that one?
Yeah, it was pretty chaotic. I think we were spun out about 4 or 5 times, but we just tried to save our fast repairs for when that would happen and drove through the field a bunch of times.
And we love the short track racing. We like to kind of bridge the gap here at VidaneTV between the sim racing world and the real racing world. Is there anywhere out in the real racing world that some of our new fans that we might see Kyle Goodbout out at the racetracks?
Yeah, I run a ACT type late model at White Mountain Motorsports Park full time. This year, we finished 3rd in the overall points, and hopefully we can get 2 positions better for next year.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Who gets you to and from the virtual racetrack and the real racetrack?
All my sponsors. My brother, he's a big part of it. But the rest of my sponsors, Mountain Maples, Woodstock Firewood, Hilton Electric, Lincoln Trucking Excavation, Salt Shaker Marine, Dome Mill RC Speedway, and I think that's it.
Heck of a run here tonight. Finishing on the podium, coming home in a 2nd spot, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ash, it's been great racing throughout the evening here tonight, and we're going to try and catch up with 1st and 3rd place here tonight. But, man, great racing, and we're not done yet. We're going to take a look at some of the action from the first race here coming up momentarily as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I found myself the driver of the 24 car, 3rd place finisher, Alan. We saw you up on the top side early on in this race, and what more was it going to take? Was it a tire game, or was it just a little bit too early for you to make the move?
I think it was tires. I needed the left sides. I just fired off too tight right there on that last restart, and it just took me way too long to get clear, and they were already gone. So
absolutely. And Paul mentioned it earlier. We like to bridge the gap between the real racing and the sim racing. Is there anywhere that you race yourself in the real world?
Yeah, I raced down at White Mountain Motorsports Park back. I did 2 full seasons, 08, 09, and then I've been kind of couple of races in between then. So
perfect. So those sponsors, who are they, and who helps you get to the real world and the iRacing world?
Young Guns Creations, LA Sim Sports, Young's Racing, my brother Aiden Young, my whole family, and can't forget my fiance too. So
awesome. Well, it was a pleasure announcing the race. You put on a show, and we'll see you again next week.
Hopefully.
All right, we'll talk to you later, Alan. All right, Paul. I think the time has come. I think you've caught up to our race winner.
Indeed, I have. Made it down to victory lane after burning them down on the 45 car, getting caught up with Casey. And Casey, first question, most important question. How do you say your last name, bud?
Beatty.
Beatty, I was nowhere close, so I apologize for that. Casey Beatty going to come home with the victory, race number 2. How was the car? It looked pretty good once you got those fresh tires on there.
Yeah, no, I even the first half there at the end, but before we took tires, this thing was a rocket ship. Just didn't have the track position after that. What happened off it too. But we made the best out of it, made our way to the front, and then the press stickers definitely helped.
Absolutely, and just taking a quick peek at the profile here, there's a lot of different color schemes, a lot of different pictures of checkered flags and 45 cars. Where do we see Casey Beatty at the real racetracks?
This year, 2024, was the American Canadian Tour up and down the East Coast. A few times at White Mountain Motorsports Park, a few times at Thunder Road. Next year, we don't quite know what's next, but probably be more races than this year.
And that's always the goal, right? Next year's got to be more than this year, and that's kind of what we're doing here at VidaneTV as well. Got to give you the opportunity, Casey, to thank anybody that's at home watching. Who gets you to and from the virtual and the real racetracks?
Jake Grout Designs for making this thing look awesome on iRacing. Creative Counters, Polson Lumber, Bradford White, CSV Motorsports, MRM, Kirby Mulch, Dance Express, CSV Motorsports, Dale Shaw Race Cars. You guys for putting this on, Kaysen for making the league possible, and yeah.
Putting in the work, doing the research, and thanking the ones that get it done. Casey, great race tonight. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. That's gonna get it done for race number 2 here in the books. But Ashton, you and I aren't done. We're gonna take ourselves a quick little. We'll put 10 minutes on the clock. We'll call it a 10-minute breather, and we're gonna come back with last Monday night's show, the DJ Loud 50 at Loudon Motor Speedway. We're gonna click on through the tapes and see what all we can see to put us basically set up the points picture here for race number 3 next Monday night. So grab yourself a quick beverage, let your friends and family know, hey, there's still some more racing action going on here on a Monday night on this VidaneTV. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Well, you can go somewhere, but just come back when you're done. Oh, no. Nope.
I'll try to work out these points.
And we are back at it once again. There you can see one of the most beautiful sights in both real racing and sim racing. Ashton Reiki, they're lining them up on the front straightaway. We're getting ready to do a little bit of racing, and we're going to do this a little tape delay style here. First time we've done this in, well, a really long time, it seems like, here at VidaneTV. With this last Monday night's race, we weren't live, but the cameras were, in fact, rolling.
Yeah, they were, and we weren't live, so we missed a little bit of it, but it's great that we can bring you the replay. And it was a great race, just like we just watched. This one was just as entertaining and a lot of fun to watch. And Paul, I think you've met up with the big sponsor for this race.
Indeed, I have DJ Loud himself, and man, from what I hear, last week's race was indeed pretty loud. It actually looks like that's one of the heat races that's lined up there, so we'll get the tapes kind of all sorted out there. But DJ, great to have you here in the booth here with us. Talk to us a little bit. How'd you get hooked up with these Fast1 guys?
I'm pretty good friends with a couple of these guys. I help a few people racing during the summertime in real life and everything, and just by knowing them for the past few years especially.
And it's cool to see that you're on board with the sim racing world here. Do you have any kind of connections with the real racing world? Any ties to any of the racetracks that we've heard throughout the night?
I've been to New Hampshire Speedway quite a few times. I usually help out my buddy Kyle Willis up at White Mountain Motorsports Park, and I do a little bit of racing every now and then myself as well.
So it's always cool to kind of be able to even compare real racing with the sim racing world, as we could see some of the action from last week's race here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway to kind of open up the season. And we know race cars are loud. We know race fans are loud, and it kind of goes hand in hand with a good DJ. Ashton and I were talking back and forth. It takes a lot to be a good DJ, and it could really make or break your event, your party, your wedding, whatever it may be. How do we get in touch with you, DJ? How do we get your services, and how do we kind of go from here?
A couple of ways you can get a hold of me. You can get a hold of me on Facebook at facebook.com/DJ Loud Entertainment, or you can shoot me a message on my cell phone at 802-673-2169, or even an email at dj.loud52@gmail.com.
DJ, great to have you on board. Great to have you here at the virtual racetrack here with us as well. Be sure to get in touch with DJ Loud. You can see his phone number there on the screen. Get him over on Facebook as well. You can make or break a party with a good DJ, and our boy DJ Loud's going to be able to take care of you. But DJ, thanks so much, man. Enjoy the show. We got 50 laps here from Loudon coming up on deck.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely. DJ Loud, good supporter here of Fast1's Late Model National Series here. We're going to get things racked up, stacked up, and ready to rock and roll here for last week's race here. Do not go anywhere. We're going to get the tape sorted out, and we'll be right back here on VidaneTV. Now, we did indeed tell you that we weren't done here tonight. We're going to come back and take a peek, a little fast and loose view at last week's race, a 50-lapper here at Loudon to kind of kick off the season. DJ Loud was on board with the sponsorship, and already right away you can see they had some big-time problems in the get-go of that one. But Ashton, we kind of go backwards here to take a peek at race number 2, or race number 1 rather, and it was pretty intense, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, something that we haven't done just in a while, going back to a replay. So we're going to give you guys some sights and scenes and just kind of talk you guys through how the first week of racing went for this series. Again, only their second year running, and they've already got 40-something cars at each race. They're sending guys home. They're running consies. Great group of drivers. We were finally able to catch up with quite a few of them. Some of them are in our chat over on the Facebook and YouTube and all the other great social medias that we're on. So if you guys are in there, show us shoot us a message and let us know how today's race went, how this race is going to pan out for us. Don't give it away. Some of these viewers don't know how the ending goes, but it's most definitely fun to go back and watch some of these races. Great to see the guys recording the races so that we can come back and see the action from last week.
The sights and sounds from the sim racing world, very similar to that of the real racing world. And Ashton, it sounds like talking to a handful of these drivers. You and I might have to plan a little bit of a road trip there. There's a handful. Oh, we see a little bit of action there. Front 5 laps in. It's lap 4 as they cross the stripe. Big junk there. Going to collect a handful of drivers up in this one. And we do apologize. Being this is live to tape from last week, we don't have the timing and scoring that we like to utilize from lap to lap. We do have the finished results, but we haven't opened it yet because we haven't seen the race yet. So no spoiler alerts in any of the chats. And Ashton, you already made mention of it. We're live all over the place, taking over the internet here, as it were, on VidaneTV. We're on TikTok. We're not on TikTok yet. Just kidding. But we are on YouTube, we are on Twitch, we are on Twitter, and we're on Facebook as well. Be sure to give us the like, the subscribe, the share, and the follow, and let us know kind of where you're watching from and who you're rooting for. And as we take a peek, this is last week's race. You can see here calamity in the early goings of this one. Front 5 laps or so, already a handful of cars down on pit lane. Lots of damage to some of these race cars as we kind of skip through some of the yellow flag laps as we get around the track. But Ashton, lots of real racers here in this field, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. They were mentioning a lot of them seem to be racing at the same racetrack in real life, which is kind of cool to see them jump over to the sim rigs, just like most of us do when the weather gets cold and the cars get put away. We do some bench racing, and it's always cool to see guys and friends that are real racing friends jump onto the sim rig and get to do it all year long on the sim rig. So as they go back to green from last week's race, it's a different racetrack than what we got to take a peek at tonight. Paul, you and I met our first time at this racetrack in the real world, but they're racing on it here on the bench racing, iRacing simulators, and a much different look. From week to week, they went from this New Hampshire, which is long, flat, and very, very fast racetrack, to a little bit shorter of a racetrack with a bit more banking.
Yeah, the road course played homes to the NX World Road Course Finals last year. That was where you and I met in person for the very first time after working together for so long here with the sim racing world. And that was my first real racing gig, first time running a camera rather. And I don't know if it was 1,000 feet in the air like you were saying, but I was definitely high enough to where I couldn't reach that pizza.
Yeah, I tried to throw it up to you. There was no way my arm strength with the wind. I wasn't getting you the slice you were looking for.
These are not the slices you were looking for. But pretty cool to think coming up on the 1-year marker of that event. Different venue, going to be at Virginia International Raceway this coming weekend, and you'll be able to check that out at uslegendscars.tv. As yours truly will be running one of the many cameras out there with that crew. The Track TV crew are going to be producing that event. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to give me another opportunity to do an iRacing show from a real racing track. Man, the world of Showtime and the world of VidaneTV is it's seeing things that we never thought we'd see before. And Ashton, you and I have talked on and off, more on than off over the past year or two. That But we got some big stuff coming up in the future for sure.
We do, and just watching this race here, these guys are all very talented drivers. A lot of three-wide action, and it's one of those things that after hearing how many real racers there are in this league, might be one of those road trips I need to take across the border here, and we need to meet up with some of these guys and maybe do some camera work, some announcing for some real-world racing with these guys.
Absolutely, especially if we do the kind of loose and fast fast ones after dark here for sure. But speaking of the things you and I are getting together and working on here, we mentioned earlier pizza boxes, and we were kind of hush hush on the details here. But I have an idea. I have an idea for pizzas.
I am never opposed to pizza ideas.
I mean, accurate, very true, very true. But you and I have talked about the pizza box gimmick, so we'll call it here. What if, now hypothetically here, what if here at VidaneTV we had 4 leagues that raced each and every week throughout the winter? Well, 5 if you count the TCM special events, because we're definitely going to be doing some stuff with Timmy. But we've got Monday night, we've got Fast1 Late Model Nationals. Tuesday night, we've got the RBR Season Ocho. Wednesday night, we've got the Turn 4 Podcast Winter iRacing League. And Thursday night, we made mention we've got the NEP Super Truck Series. What if with all the real racing drivers that are mixed in with all these fields here, Ashton, what if we gave one of those pizza boxes, or we listed one of those pizza boxes, and we filled one of those pizza boxes with the winner of each of the 4 series that are running here on VidaneTV?
Are you suggesting like a team one-off shirt or a championship shirt?
Ooh, see, that's where the question lies, because
this is why you and I often end up doing these races and staying on until 1 o'clock in the morning, because we start shooting these ideas out and it just seems to snowball. But what's the answer?
Solid maybe. We'll go with solid maybe for this one. We're still working on revamping the site, but you can definitely still check it out. www.vidane.tv, and you can kind of see the how the storefront is going to be set up. And that storefront, oh by the way, is indeed powered by old Ashton Reiki himself and Wingnut Productions. So we've been kind of been beating around the bush with that announcement. So we were waiting on some hardcore evidence and some hardcore marketing, but yeah, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and announce it. Ashton's hooking us up, and he's going to be making all of our t-shirts, all of our hats, all of our cool merchandise. And when I say cool merchandise, you and I were up there, Ashton, jamming in the shop, just bouncing ideas off of each other. It's not going to be just t-shirts. It's not going to be just sweatshirts and hats. There are going to be some projects in the next calendar year, and I'm very excited to be working together with you.
Yeah, and I'm like, I mean, me and the boss Scott over here at Conway Customs, myself with Wingnut Productions, we're really excited to get the new site up and running. I know we've been working on our site also to kind of follow along that same line with the storefront. Being able to allow these Fast 1 guys, the NEP, the RBR, all these series to have a spot to put merchandise up on a website or on multiple websites if they want to. It's one of those deals that, you know, it's going to be a working together with different companies, different drivers. We have some local drivers around here that we already do merch for. That's where the whole idea of doing merch for you over at VidaneTV, the Angry Tree guys, all of that stuff. It's all, I don't want to give too much up, but it's all in that big snowball that we've created.
Indeed, and the biggest thing is it low cost to the driver, low cost to the group putting in we take care of all the risk, all the work. Oh, a little bit of wrecking up there in the top 3. Great save there by the 9 car. Holy cow, monster save by the 9 car. But it's one of those deals. I get it. I've been around the racetrack for going on 15, 20 years. I worked with the Rent a Race Car team. They ran out street stocks there at Stafford Motor Speedway. Been working with those guys for going on 15 years. I was actually just over at Gary Jr.'s house having a couple of lattes with Mr. Gary and the crew, and that was a good time as well. But I digress. We know you got to get that race car fast. That is the whole point of racing, right? The race car needs to go fast. That's where the energy needs to get put. That's where the money needs to get put. Let us worry about the T-shirts. Let us worry about the hats, the marketing, all that stuff. Just say, hey, let me get a T-shirt, let me get a hat, put it up on your site. We'll split it down the road, and we'll call it good. That's kind of how we are at VidaneTV, and Wingnut Productions very, very similar. We're not business casual. We're kind of casual business. We get it. Life happens. Racing happens. The car needs to go fast. When the car goes fast, you pick up more sponsors. You get more sponsors. You buy more talent, or whatever that guy was saying on Moody. I know the Penguin in Chief, Anthony Steffens, is out in the background laughing at that one, but I digress. It's going to be really, really cool, and it's going to be a great opportunity for some drivers, some teams, and even some sim racers to get some T-shirts out there, because I know I can't really speak for you, Ashton, but I think you're on the same page. I'm not opposed to hosting sim racing merchandise.
And that's, after you mentioned, again, this is how the ideas kind of snowball into effect and become reality is, you mentioned about doing some sort of a T-shirt for the champion or something like that, but iRacing runs and as they're wrecking in the backstretch or on the front stretch at the back of the pack there, so just to kind of show you guys what's going on as the yellow comes out. But back to the merchandise, iRacing is run in a high enough quality that you could easily take a photo of your car on the racetrack, whether it be New Hampshire Speedway or Southern Nationals where we just ran tonight. Send that over to us. We turn it into a T-shirt. We put some cool graphics on it. Throw your sponsors on there. And although you're not racing in the real world, who's to say you can't sell a T-shirt to a family member and maybe put that extra $5 back into the sim rig and improve your gear.
And that's what it's all about, investing in the future and investing in yourself. And I'll scream that from any soapbox I can get, no matter how big, how small. Definitely have to invest in yourself. Even if you've got yourself surrounded by some good people, you really need to make sure that you're putting yourself first and make sure you take care of it. And that's kind of where we're at. We enjoy racing. It's passion projects for both of us, and we know how much work gets into it. So we want to kind of be able to help share that platform and help build that platform and really make a future for the future of racing, because that's where the future lies, and that's one of the cool things, being able to work with the Inex series and the Bandoleros, and I know you're very tight with a lot of the Bando and Legend drivers up in the Maritimes as well, but that's the future, man. Those are the next the racing drivers, and how cool would it be if, hey, I bought that kid's T-shirt back when he was a sim racer, and then his second T-shirt, it was half sim racing, and there was a lightning bolt on the other side of the lightning bolt. It was his real race car, like we've seen so many times where real race car drivers will utilize their real paint scheme on the iRacing rig. So the possibilities really endless for the different types of merchandise. I'm a designer. Ashton, you're a designer as well. So if that's something you're interested out there, definitely give us a shout, and we can make a little magic happen for you.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations, Paul. I just want to mention that we got a border in between us, but the border means nothing for us. There's always, where there's a will, there's a way, and we're already looking to expand all of North America. So don't worry about the exchange. Don't worry about that. We'll have that all figured out when everything gets officially released. So whether you're from the East Coast or whether you're from across the border in the Americas, we always have a way, and we'll figure it out.
Speaking of which, where is everybody from? We still got a whole bunch of folks watching live here. Thank you guys staying up late here for us on a Monday night. Crazy to think, hey, if you've got a TV in where you're watching us right now, don't turn us off yet, because we still got we're about halfway here in this one here. But 9 o'clock Eastern coming up here in 45 minutes ago, you'll actually be able to catch the All-American 400. It'll be on there a couple of times on the replay over on MAV TV. And that was from Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Ashton, that was one of the coolest experiences for me to be able to, last week, it's part of the reason why we weren't live with this race Monday night. The day prior, I was running a camera at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for the All-American 400. So that was really cool. I was able to run the Turn 1 camera, and that show is going to be on MAV TV tonight and throughout the week as well. So my first show that I kind of worked that made it to cable. Would appreciate if everybody would tune in and check that out. Kind of bump those rookie numbers up just a little bit. And man, check out some great racing. There was some drivers all over America, and there was a couple of Canadians sprinkled on in there as well.
Yeah, we were able to watch some of the qualifying, and I was actually sitting at a table with Tim during our championship banquet for the Maritime Pro Stock Tour, and we were able to watch the qualifying on 3 of the big screens. They had big projectors up there, and we put it on all of them. And I shot you over a message saying something along the lines of "Don't screw up, we're all watching." And there was probably about I'm gonna say probably about 400 people watching that at the same time. So I can tell you there was a lot of eyes on the screens, but we'll say there was eyes on you, Paul.
No pressure though, right?
No pressure at all.
It's going to be cool to hang out with Mr. Tim Terry here coming up this weekend. He'll be down for the Road Course Nationals with the NX Series at Virginia International Raceway. I'll be down there as well. Going to be, I believe he and I are getting together Monday night. He is, or Monday morning anyway. He's going to be calling the World of Outlaw race, and I'm trying to get him to take a Monday night off to come over and help us out with these Fast1 late model nationals, because man, these cats are putting on a heck of a show, and I know Mr. Tim Terry likes some late model racing.
Absolutely. Again, just like we just had 150 laps of side by side, some 3 wide, some 2 wide, and it was no different in week 1, as you guys are seeing on the screen. Some 2 wide and some sliding. Again, the tracks are so different. These guys seem to handle them so well. Nice wide track as they fan out what looks to be 3-4 wide down the front stretch. And again, they're putting on a great show. They're a great group of guys. The yellow's out. It's one of those things, Paul, when you've got so many cars on a racetrack and they're all bidding for the same position, there's going to be yellow flags, and it doesn't mean that they're any less of a driver or any worse of a driver. It's just part of racing. We see it in the real world. We see it in iRacing, and every one of these drivers puts 110% into it, and that's all we ask for.
Oh, for sure, and they'd like to put on a show here with us at VidaneTV and be able to get all the races on demand. And we've got each and every race that we've ever done over on the YouTube page, youtube.com/VidaneTV/live. You can even check out some of the little highlight short videos we put together there back just a few months back with some of the previous races we've had here. And for some of you that are joining in at VidaneTV for the first time, thank you. Appreciate you spending the Monday night here with us tonight. We know it's a long night. Doing a little double-double action here as we're kind of reviewing the tapes from last week's DJ Loud 50 here at Loudon. Home track for Mr. DJ Loud. Talked to him at the top of the hour. Pretty cool to be able to talk to our sponsors here in the sim racing world and kind of give them a little bit of a platform to let everybody know they're helping us out with our hobbies. And Ashton, you and I both know that we can't get it done alone for sure.
And that's the number one point you made there, Paul, was that, you know, they help us out big time. Some of these guys we haven't met in person. A lot of these drivers in this league, we've never actually spoke to in person, but they provide us the racing to do what we love to do, and that's calling the race, talking about the cars, talking about the different tracks, reminiscing of old times. When there's some really long yellows or really long green flag. So without the drivers, without the sponsors, without everybody behind the scenes, we wouldn't be able to do what we love to do, and that's for that we thank every one of them.
For sure, and I like to listen to myself talk, and I like to hear myself say my own name, as you'll notice here if you keep tuning in each and every Monday night here on VidaneTV. But been in the sim racing world for a long time. I was doing it back when I was in high school. Back in 2002, 2003, way back in the NASCAR heat. Yeah, that's a lot of these guys in this field weren't even alive at that point. But it was kind of cool. It's been a passion project for mine for a long time. I got into the real short track racing, started working on the street stocks up at Stafford Speedway about 15 years ago or so. And then in the past 2 years, been able to get some of the TV deals here, working with some of the Speed Sport affiliates. So really been able to kind of bridge the gap here, coming to another restart here just past halfway in this one. Going to take the green flag here on lap 30. And it's neat to be able to do these fast and loose reviews here because it gives us an opportunity to kind of talk and connect with the viewers out there and kind of tell our story. Because my story with racing, I was never very good. Sim racing or real racing. I had a couple of starts at Stafford Speedway. Got a top 10 one time. But that was about where we called that one. It's cool to be able to kind of sit back, build the platform, and talk about the up-and-comers in the racing world, and just be able to tell all the different stories. Because you can see, it's tough to tell without timing and scoring, but you can see there's still 25, 30-plus cars in this field battling it out. That's 30 plus stories. That's 30 different people that somehow had to get to the virtual racetrack and go through their trials and tribulations to get there. And oh, by the way, there's still a 50-lap feature that they have to run to try and get that checkered flag.
Yeah, and every one of them works just as hard day in, day out, whether it be real racing or, all of these guys are going to a 9-to-5 job. This is just a hobby of theirs. This is something they enjoy doing. Again, a lot of these guys are real racers. So, they put the real cars away and then they turn all their attention to running these virtual race cars, and they put so much effort and so much time into it, and all while having a lot of fun. And it just, again, it allows us to do what we like to do all year long, 12 months out of the year.
Speaking of loads and loads of fun, got to give a shout out to my buddy Meadows over there watching on the Twitch chat. Speaking of racing back in 2002, the 72 car pointed in the wrong direction. I think that's one of the 3 72 cars in the field. Oh, that is large back there. But yeah, Meadows was back in that original group that I raced with back in 02, 03. Been friends with him for 25 years plus, and he's backed every move I've ever made in the sim racing world, the real racing world, and finally got to meet him for the first time doing the real racing stuff at Dominion Raceway rather, which was kind of a cool crossover for us because that was our largest sim racing show that we ever did. Was during COVID with Dominion Raceway. We did a little bit of a meet and greet with some of the track personnel there beforehand and had over 16,000 viewers for that show, and was able to go to the real track and work a real show there. So neat little crossover. Got to meet my buddy Meadows and hang out at the racetrack and do race car things, and got some cool pictures and videos from that track as well. So shout out to Meadows for those.
And I'm just gonna throw a quick shout out here, Paul, in the YouTube chat. We have PJ. I'm gonna say Frappier. One of the drivers that was in the race tonight and was in the race that we're watching the replays. He's just thanking us for the broadcast, and he's excited about this year. And he's driving from what I gather, it's the 05 Chelmsford Wholesale, Bouchard Auto Stores, and the LCM Motorsports car. And this is what we were just talking about: being able to meet new people and chat with new drivers that are on these sim rigs that allow us to do what we like doing. And it's cool to see them in our chats, reaching out to us, letting us know where they're racing and watching from, and supporting us and doing what we like to do.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always cool to get the messages and the Twitter posts with the hashtag VidaneTV of the broadcast up on the big screen. A couple nights ago, this past Friday, as a matter of fact, Corey Casagrande, one of the admins for the NEP Super Truck Series, they've been with us this is now their 6th season, and he just built a house and building a family and all this cool stuff, and already has his Christmas decorations up over the fireplace, and there it is, the big screen, VidaneTV right over top of the fireplace with the stocking hanging down. It really did. It almost brought a tear to my eye. It was just one of those really photogenic moments.
And I'm going to call us small town guys, because myself with Wingnut Productions is also just a small photography company that my wife and I have going. And, along that same line, I had DJ Kennington, NASCAR Canada driver, approach me when he was here at Riverside asking for one of my decals to run on the car. And it's one of those, as a small business owner, to see those pictures and to see you out on social media and some of the guys that I consider to be famous mentioning your name, it's humbling. It like you said, it almost brings a small tear to your eye.
Humbling is all capital letters, 1,000%. Some of our viewers may or may not know, I made the trip up to Canada a couple of months ago, and just met with open arms from the entire racing community. Very, very cool. I drove I have this little S10, this little 5-banger S10. I love the little S10 trucks. It's a 5-speed, fantastic on gas. Drove that up there, and I only had the 1 or 2 stickers on it, and I told myself I wasn't going to do what I did with my last S10 and just cover the whole thing in stickers and decals and decals and all this other stuff, but then I went to Canada, and everybody kept giving me stickers and decals and decals, so there we went, and we're putting up, we got the heavy Chevy up there, the old Brenda Lee, we've got the Dillman stickers up on there, and I drove that same truck down to Jacksonville, Florida, to go to Wes Hoag's wedding just a couple of weekends ago. The co-founder here of VidaneTV. Congratulations to he and Britt. But there were folks at that wedding. Well, who's this Jamie Dillman fella? So, well, went up to his house and partied and parked next to his race car, and Ashton cooked me steaks, and we had a good time, drank some beers, talked race cars. So just being able to make that connection with the sim racing, the real racing, and just to have essentially having a spot to go anywhere in the real racing world. I'll tell anybody that listens that the following weekend after you and I hung out, I went out to Speedway 660. And that was their big race weekend of the year, and you get up on top of the tower and you look out in the parking lot and the other parking lot and 5, 6, 7 more parking lots. They're all full of trailers and campers and RVs. And I was hanging out with Dylan Langell and Denver Matchett and Brent Roy, those guys, and I said, man, my goal, I want to make one lap and say hi to everybody, because there's a lot of VidaneTV fans up here in Canada, because we've worked with Tim Terry, Tim's Corner Motorsports, and Mike James with the Eastbound Park and all those guys. And I got down there and we made it to the second camper. Hey, it's Paul Strickland from Connecticut in the States. I had nowhere to go, just fans all over the place. So it was really cool to be able to get 1,200 miles away or however many kilometers that is, and have the recognition from the sim racing deal. So we talk about that and we tell those stories because we've got sponsors on top of these that are kind of helping us out and helping these drivers out and paying for the broadcast costs and paying out points payouts and stuff like that and trophies and everything that costs money to put these leagues on. So we like those sponsors knowing that doesn't go unnoticed for these passion projects.
And on that, Paul, and I mean, I had mentioned this to you after the weekend or week of you and I hanging out, I flew back to Ontario, my hometown, and I went to Flamborough Speedway, and it wasn't 10 minutes that I was there. Somebody asked me if I brought you with me because they had seen our Facebook posts of us hanging out here in the Maritimes, and they wanted you to go to Ontario to be able to meet some of them. Again, through the iRacing world, they all know who you are.
Yeah. Like I said, capital letters, humbling. Very, very cool, and it was neat at 660 as well, running the wireless cam. Jesse Thompson, good friend of ours here at VidaneTV, longtime announcer up in the Maritimes. He'd say my name over the loudspeaker, and I look out there, and people are cheering. I was like, wow, I'm 36, 37 years old. Nobody's ever cheered after saying my name. So being able to kind of have that little bit of recognition was very, very cool. And it's one of those things. It really opens doors. Everybody asks me, how do you get the opportunities to get out on the real racetrack and kind of work on a production crew or work with a camera, or maybe I want to work on a race car. Maybe I want to be on a pit crew. Start with iRacing, man. Get the kids started on it young and kind of see where that passion lies, because A, it's a whole lot cheaper. And B, there's a lot of muscle memory with the racing stuff as well. And iRacing does a great job getting these tracks laser scanned in and getting everything as accurate as they can and getting everything ready to rock and roll. And these guys are ready to rock and roll again here. Taking a peek here. We're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're on lap 42 here of the scheduled 50 and getting ready to take that restart once we get the one to go with the light still on in the iRacing pace car.
Yeah, you mentioned, Paul, the getting them involved in iRacing, and it's something that I went to the real racetrack originally, and then turned my way to iRacing after life got in the and adulting got in the way. But if anybody's watching and they're you got a local racetrack by you, go to it. Go out. Start going to the spectator side. Enjoy a night of racing. Enjoy the track food, as Paul and I always enjoy.
Get some track food. Absolutely. And no dieting. Just get the track food.
Yeah, once you get comfortable and you start knowing the drivers by their cars, do a walk around to the pits, introduce yourself to some of the drivers. There's a lot of teams out there that would love to have the extra set of hands and would love to teach the newcomers, because without the newcomers, the sport wouldn't go anywhere. It's just like any sport. You need the young guys to move up. You need the young guys to learn. So get out to your local racetrack and support once the season is back underway, I guess, for myself here in Canada. But support your local racetrack anywhere you are. And when it's too cold, jump on iRacing and come and have some fun with us over here.
Well, first, when it's too cold, you go to VidaneTV and you buy yourself a sweatshirt. And then you come over and you sit in front of the iRacing rig. So we're working on the advertising stuff here at
Yeah, I
VidaneTV,
missed that one.
yeah, so we'll put $1 in the jar for that one, and we'll pay for that sponsored by itself. But lots of cool stuff coming up in the 2025 season here, as we're going to have a lot of different places to put a lot of different logos. So reach out to us if you're looking to join the fun, to join the party. Green flag flies with less than 10 laps to go. In this one, 6 laps to go. Easy enough for me to say. As we take a peek at last week's race, and you can see, just like tonight's race, side to side, banger to banger, these guys are beating and banging on each other, and it has been a brawl fest all the way throughout.
And again, the great racing. I know we talked to these guys about last week before we got on air for this race, and they said it was a great race, a lot of side-by-side action. That's exactly what we're seeing as we go on board with the 72 car leading this race, and he's kind of in control of this one. He's got bright green gloves, Paul, so at least he's got bright gloves on for us. We'll quite enjoy that there as he stretches his lead out just a little bit on the 45 down the backstretch, and the 49 taking a look on the bottom side. This track is very wide, so you can run 3 or 4 wide. A little bit of rubbing behind them, but no harm, no foul. And rubbing's racing in some instances. It's not always the best thing, but it worked out in their favor there, and the top 3 seem to be rolling around this track just fine.
And they're still side by side in behind for a second. Bakun running away with this one. You can see 5, 6 car lengths, 7, 8 car lengths as they get down into turn number 3 with less than 5, less than 4. Going to be 3 laps to go here at the line for the number 72 car.
45 looking to the outside of the yellow and black machine down on the bottom side. They're going to go single file. The outside line seemed to work a little bit better there for the 45, but the inside on a wide track like this is going to be your preferred line as he hooks it around the bottom as the yellow does come out. Is that going to give us a green-white checkered, Paul? Again, I know we don't have timing and scoring, so it's going to be a little difficult.
Yeah, that's one of those, I listened to Sal earlier, and our Sal TV said the sticky notes are kind of useless. I got one of the good sticky notes, and it said, on the notes on the bottom, it said 50 laps, ... So I do believe this is, in fact, going to be a green-white checkered here for race number 1.
So is it still a sticky note if it doesn't stick, or is it just a note?
Well, if it was a note, would it carry a tune?
Well, I would assume it would, but I don't think a paper can carry a tune.
I had something for this. There's those bright green gloves. How about the green shoes to match too? That's going to be one of the cool things. Not that feet gave me an idea, but we do have a feet cam we're going to be using Thursday night at the NEP race. Mr. Brent Roy is going to be carrying that, so be sure to tune in and check that out.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier about the sponsors and the constant progression we're making. I shouldn't say you're making over at VidaneTV.
No, we're making.
And all the different camera angles we've been working on, a little bit of control stuff that I can kind of take over. And if anybody else has any sort of camera that they think would be kind of cool for us to do a half and half split screen with, shoot it over to Paul, shoot it over to myself, and we'll try and figure something out. But we're always looking to move forward. So if anybody's got ideas, again, shoot us a message. Find Paul over at VidaneTV, and just get a hold of him. And we're always open to new fun ideas.
Yeah, we might not be doing business, but we're always open.
I mean, we're always doing business. Is there any time?
It seems like no. Yeah, you're right. We're busy this year. 4 races a week through March. Are you kidding me?
Have we had a day off?
What's a day off?
This right here. This is our day.
This is our day off running double shows. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Oh man, lights off on that iRacing pace car. Going to be taking the hard left-hand turn down the safety of pit road, and you can see there's still a gaggle of cars. There's still 25, 30 cars left in this one, with the first attempt here at a green-white checkered, and 72 down on the bottom side, 46 on the 45 up on the high side. We saw that 45 was quick tonight as well. So, whew.
Great group of cars. They all have a great look to them. They've all brought out their.
Oh, that hurt.
Yeah, that's why I stopped. The green flag dropped and the car got airborne. I'm not sure if that's supposed to happen, but I don't think race cars fly. But nonetheless, the yellow is back out. They're going to restack them. It shouldn't take too long. They're going to stack them up, get them double file, and we're going to try that one again. Because now I think that's going to push us into overtime for the DJ Loud 50. It's going to be the DJ Loud 50 plus.
See, that's what it's all about. Getting the extra time, getting the extra airwaves. That's one of the good one of the pros with the green white checkered rule that NASCAR put into play a couple of years back. In any sense, it kind of lets things play out, and it again, it tells different stories. How about fuel mileage? How about tire wear? How about all the other different things? Good restarts, bad restarts, missing of shifts. There's so many other different things that could go wrong when you add in multiple restarts like this towards the end of a race.
And everybody, this is your last opportunity to make up that last spot or last two spots. And at the end of the year, that 1 or 2 points could make a big difference. So it always creates a little bit of an extra excitement when you get a green-white checkered. As you can see, they're just catching up to the pace car here. Looks like they are still under yellow. The guys are going to know exactly where they need to line up, as we didn't get a lap and they're already double file. So they'll probably come to 1 to go here as we are 1 to go. They're going to come to the green next time around.
And there you see fanning them out in the back. That's a lot of what we saw tonight on some of those restarts, but you can see the 72 Akun just down on the bottom side, making it work. The 49 car trying to make it stick down there as well, side by side for second behind the 72.
Looks like the 49 is going to tuck back up in behind the 45, and they're going to go single file through 3 and 4. And the battle continues for 5th, 6th, 7th on back, as they are still side by side back there trying to make those last few positions. Purple car on the outside looks like he's making a big move. He's got a quick run. That looks like it's going to be for about 4th or 5th, but the yellow flag is out, and we are going to try it again.
50 plus indeed, as I turn to the second sticky note in the stack. 55 plus question mark ... As they get re-racked and restacked once again. And the beauty of live to tape, we can kind of fast forward these caution laps and get us back to the final restart, as this is in fact the third and final attempt at a green-white checkered. And there you see they're side by side heading on into 1.
The 45 trying to make the bid on the outside. The 49 closed the gap on the bottom, did not allow the 45 to get down to the bottom to be able to make a move. So they're going to go side by side down the backstretch into 3 and 4. We're going to see how this plays out.
Oh, no.
45 is going to go around on the nose of the 49. That could have just been a simple spotter issue. Single car spin, no yellow. They're coming to the checkered flag. The 72 of Kuhn is going to take the checkered flag.
I think that was the white flag. Oh, big
white?
wreck behind.
That was the white flag. Sorry about that, Paul.
All good.
Checkered. So the 72 kind of in his own league now with the guys wrecking behind him. He was able to gain some distance, and they're single file coming down the back. Hopefully the front stretch is cleared when he comes back around as he goes through 3 and 4. Paul, take it away.
Oh, coming into 3 and 4, you can see clear by 7. There's a little bit of a battle. Could be heating up for that second spot. There you see it, the checkered flag for the 72 Akun. Going to come home with the win last weekend. And well, it's late, and there's no lights on here at the virtual racetrack, so we won't have an opportunity to talk to him. Might be able to talk to him before we get started with next week's race, but there you can see the top 10 from last week. DJ Loud 58 as it ended up being. And once again, Ashton, great race put on by these guys. I'm really looking forward to Monday nights here at VidaneTV.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's one of those situations. We talked to a couple guys after this race this week, and they were saying, we just got to iron out some of the kinks, and it's like that in any series. This is only their second season. They've got a great group of cars. They've got some great sponsors in RKM, and that's Ryan Kuhn Motorsports, DJ Loud, Mad River Plumbing, us here at VidaneTV. U-House Racing Designs for the replays. Fast1 Motorsports, they're all a great group of guys, and they put on some amazing racing, and I know they want to clean it up a little bit, and that's all part of the game, and that's all part of the entertainment of bench racing. So nothing to be ashamed of. This is a great group of guys, and they're all very talented drivers.
Absolutely going to be great to catch back up with these guys next Monday night. But the next time we go live going to be tomorrow night for RBR Season 8 race number 2. Can't wait to have those guys back on the airwaves here with us Wednesday night, the Turn 4 podcast, Winter iRacing League, and then again at Thursday night, the NEP iRacing Super Truck Series. Going to be an absolute blast. But for myself, Showtime, Paul Strickland Jr., Ashton Reiki, we'll catch you on the flip side. And when we do,
we'll be doing it live.
Let's go.